Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Chaboi Hybrid here. We are on episode 2 of the podcast, the vintage podcast, actually. We have Joe, or Boneless, and we have Eugene, or Eugenics. My boy Eugene has been around in my life for a long time. I think since, preschool? So, yep. And now he lives in Texas. I'm kind of jealous.
The womb together, but
What's up?
I thought y'all shared the womb together.
We could have. Shit, it feels like it. I've known him for so long.
True.
But yeah, man, it's finally doing this. Finally, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while now. So I thought the first episode went really well. I was a little nervous with like the audio and stuff, but I think it sounded fun. Today, really want to talk about MW2 and a couple of other games I want to discuss. But with MW2, there's a new there's some news about having an early release for the campaign, which is dope. I remember Joe telling me a couple weeks ago they might do it like a month early, but we found out now it's official. That's gonna be a week.
Yeah, I wish it was a longer, but a week's enough time to get a good feel for the game.
Yeah, they did that with COD 4 Remastered, and it was great because that's how I got my Platinum trophy. So,
really?
Yeah, it was a week early, so I just went through the campaign. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get Platinum, and it was a bitch, but I got it. So, yeah, and then also, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but we might be getting Warzone 2 in November. So,
from what I saw today, it comes out 2 weeks after the launch of MW2 in full, so 3 weeks after the campaign.
Which is dope.
It's a long ass time. Oh, I think it's because they also said they're gonna do like a preseason for the new ranked Warzone mode, and that's why they're.
I'm actually really. That's another thing too. I'm really happy they're doing like a ranked playlist now. People have been asking for that.
About time, honest.
Yeah, like and like I said, I think that what they should do is have at least we'll have 2 big maps, 2 good solid maps, and then 2 small maps, and just have a rotation. Dude, that would literally bring so many people back to Warzone as it did.
A lot of problems.
It would solve, yeah, and like it's good to have. That's why it's nice to have not Codera, but have Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island, so we can switch it up. I love that. It's not just Rebirth. It's not just Fortune's Keep.
You get the best of both worlds.
But I cannot stand when they just do quads on one and then they do individuals.
Yeah, it's so weird that they do that.
Yeah, and then for the normal BR on Codera, it's like, oh, solos, duos, and trios, and that's it. There's no quads. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and this is the same shit they do with Gunfight, and it bothers the fuck out of me. Because Gunfight in Modern Warfare does the same thing. It's like we get duos mainly, and then they'll just randomly do trios, and it's like, bro, do both or just do one.
They have an option.
I'd rather do duos.
I'd rather them have an option just because, like, I remember there was a lot of times when, before I had met Joe, when it would be you and I playing a lot, and then they'd have trios all of a sudden, and then we'd just play with Josh. It would be kind of nice if they had both options all the time. Mm-hmm. That way, it's just you and me, or it's just you and Joe, or you and Josh.
Well,
you guys can play the normal 2-on-2, and then if there's 3 people, you can do 3-on-3.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing too. Is like I'm like, especially when if I'm doing solos on Gunfight, I do not want to play trios. That shit's terrible.
Because it's hard because your teammates don't help out.
And they usually leave for the most part. At least in duos, it's a little easier. But with duos, it's actually way easier when you're doing solos. But when you have 2 people in Gunfight, it's nice because then if you do trios, it's easier. But again, I just think it's dumb they just don't have both because Gunfight is very popular. So you can get matches really fast. So yeah. I'm not sure why they don't do that, and I really hope they implement Gunfight into the next COD. They do a good job on it, not like they did with Cold War, where they just cut half a piece of one of their main maps and then just put it in a Gunfight map.
Yeah, and it also just didn't even feel right.
Yeah, Yeah, dude, we played it a little bit, I think. And then
Yeah.
and then Vanguard's like, let's just get rid of that and just make some weird game mode.
Champion Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had high hopes for that because it was supposed to be like a battle royale kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think we all did it once. Pretty sure
We did.
Eugene did it too.
Yeah, I think it was literally the three of us.
Yeah, it was kind of whatever. I was kind of confused too. I didn't understand it. Like, why didn't should it explain it like how it works? I was like, oh, we're still in it. Oh, cool. And then I was like, oh wait, we have lives over time. It was weird. It's a weird.
Also buy guns and just I don't know.
I didn't like it. I just like gunfight. It's simple. Just give me something simple. I don't need like all this extra shit. What we need is apparently we're also getting league play or rank play on day 1 too for like normal multiplayer, which is dope. Or at least like a month later, because these past couple of CODs they don't even come out until like fucking February, January. I don't understand. Like you guys have $1 million companies for competitive and stuff like that that are competing, and you guys don't even have a competitive playlist. Like that's crazy to me.
I never realized they even added it on Vanguard.
They did.
Yeah, they did because I just played through the campaign like a week ago, and yeah, I remember when I reinstalled it and I was on the menu where you could choose like campaign, multiplayer, all that shit. It was right there, ranked play,
Oh,
and I was like, when like that usually makes a little bit more like news, you could call it. Like I would have seen it and I don't remember seeing it. Of course, that's also I think just because Vanguard died within like 3 weeks.
bro.
Dude, I uninstalled that shit in 14 hours. I got a refund in 14 hours.
I don't understand about that game too. It's like the camos are so bad.
Yeah,
It's just bad.
The camos are bad. The campaign I didn't even finish it yet. I'm just like,
I stand by what I said. It's better than World War II because World War II
the campaign wise, not multiplayer.
campaign wise.
Because I actually fucked with multiplayer. It got better too.
But the campaign in World War II was not set during like actual battles, whereas Vanguard, pretty much every campaign mission was, with exception of the first mission.
Yeah, the first mission was. I remember the first mission in World War II. That was obviously fucking.
Yeah, completely fictional. But the rest of it was actually based on battles or took place during a large battle.
Well, weren't you like a spy or some shit?
No.
Oh, I don't even remember World War II campaign. I'm gonna be real with you,
I
Chief.
liked the World War II campaign. I thought that shit was awesome. It felt like a movie.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was not fun. I didn't enjoy it.
Campaign. You give me a better answer.
If it was, again, I'm playing World War II. I don't want to feel like I'm playing Michael Bay film. I want to feel like it's a World War II game. That's why I will say this every time. World at War has the best Call of Duty World War II game.
After replaying World at War recently, I even have issues with that, and it's not because it's a Michael Bay film. It's like, no, it's just it was completely fictional, and most of the stuff you do in that game is just like some random bullshit. And so none of the World War II Call of Duty games since Call of Duty 3 has been super
historical.
I think you're just part of it. I think is you're just remembering it through.
Well, no, I mean even replay. I literally just replayed it like I don't know, less than a month ago, and I was like, this is amazing. I was having fun with it. I was like, this is such a good campaign. It's just it feels again. I just feel like I'm in a World War II game. Like I feel like it's gruesome, it's serious, like, and it's just like. There's a lot of moments like, oh fuck. There's a lot of oh shit moments.
I mean, there was in World War II.
So I don't know. I think, I mean, dude, even the game itself, like just getting into the menu music, you're like, oh shit, playing World War II. Playing a World War II game. I don't know. I think World at War is a good game. I would love to see in the future. They're like, fuck it, we're gonna remaster it. Multiplayer.
I hope they don't make more World War II Call of Duties. To be honest,
I don't either. It was
World War II is one of those things where it's like it's a huge part of history. Blah blah blah. It's overdone. I mean, they always do. Oh, we're gonna do World War II.
Well,
World War II.
to be well,
do World War. I've been saying this for years. I know it might not be fun for a lot of people, but a Civil War Call of Duty would be so sick. It would be so simple.
It wouldn't work.
It would be so. It would work.
No, it wouldn't. Especially for multiplayer, it would not work.
I think it would be fine for like a small like halfway through the year.
If it was a
pod, like just a campaign and like maybe like a small dedicated multiplayer, but
nothing like major, like a major Call of Duty title. That'd be weird. There's not enough there to do that. There's not enough guns.
It would bring that arcade feel back because they wouldn't have to go extra doing all this other shit. They wouldn't have to include all this bullshit. It's just super simple, super easy.
Or just make a normal Modern Warfare game in the modern era.
I think what Joe just said is fair, though.
Yeah.
I mean, even Call of Duty 4 is when they started adding kill streaks and shit. Before that, it was just get in a car if the map had it. If not, fucking walk around, shoot people. It's over. Congrats.
Yeah. At least
it felt more quick and less dependent on kill streaks.
Well, but the thing with COD 4 is compared to every single COD, especially the newer CODs, that is the most simple COD you'll ever play. Beyond simple. Okay. There's literally, you get 2 attachments, a fucking red dot, and your secondary would be like a fucking just something random. But it was never like you had to add a bunch of attachments and shit. It was very simple.
Yeah, because you literally had you had attached. It's either red dot or silencer.
Yeah, or a hollow.
And then
one of those masochists.
And then you rock the noob tube or some shit and be a dick in that game. But yeah, that game was simple. We can even talk about like MW2. It was simple. Those times were so simple for multiplayer. And then now it's like we got to add all these customizations and shit. It's crazy because I remember back in the day, I was like, man, I would love to be able to customize my character more. But so they did, but it's like they focus so much more on customizations instead of like the actual
it was
game.
Overcorrection essentially.
Yeah.
I think the difference is we're older and the younger people, younger than us, they want all that flashy shit. They want the customization. They want all that.
I'm not saying I don't want it. I just said I think they should focus on actually making a good game instead of worrying about customizations.
The customization gets money.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, that's the annoying part. Like,
these young kids will ask their parents, it's like, can you buy this for me so all my friends have it? So then the parents are gonna cough up and get it.
And well, me and Joe were talking about this. Like, dude, Black Ops 2 camos were so cheap back in the day. Those camos, if they were made now, it'd been like $20-$30.
It was $4.99, and you got an animated skin.
And there were good skins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when they first released them, I got the bacon skin.
I did too. I did too. I did too.
I got the what's it called? The dragon one.
Yup. And I also got the Element 115.
Yep. I think I actually got all of them, to be honest.
See,
I ended up getting all of them because my friend got them all, and his home Xbox was my Xbox. And so, because his Xbox broke for a while, and so I ended up with all of them throughout most of Black Ops 2.
I just wished they just did something like that. I mean, dude, it's like I don't mind the customizations. It's not that. It's just like
I would like it if it wasn't just a bunch of clowns running around the map or fucking dragons.
Yeah, well, especially what I don't understand is like Vanguard itself. It's like, dude, it's a World War II game. Have some cool like World War II themes and shit. Why Why do we have like some fucking like Barbie looking girl or whatever running around the map? It's just weird.
Or, just World War II or whatever it was.
There's some cool. You can do some cool themes. I don't get it.
Like I actually like when I was playing the campaign, I went on to multiplayer just to like look at something, and it took me to the battle pass screen.
Oh God.
And I saw one of the characters, and it was I actually ended up buying the character because it was just you remember that character I used for a long time in Modern Warfare, Bailey? It was a dude with the ghillie suit and the Oni mask.
Yeah.
It was just that again, and I was like, see, that's a good World War II skin for a like either a Japanese or like a Polynesian character, whatever he was.
Dude,
it's
imagine. Okay, you guys ready for this? Imagine some Sekiro looking dude. Like that'd be dope to have a skin. For for a character. So I don't understand why they don't do that instead of adding like a gun that has
tracer fucking rounds and shit,
or like a unicorn on your gun and shit. I'm just like, relax, man, relax. Like, and on top of that, I think the battle pass it's so stupid because it's like, oh, here's the battle pass so you can get the guns, but it's also like here's half-assed stuff you can unlock. But if you want the real shit, you gotta spend $20-$30.
Or everyone get to like level 100 on it.
Yeah.
Everyone wants free stuff, but they still need to make money, so they just do a shitty battle pass
And it's
every game.
And it's so dumb. It's like, bro, you guys are a billion-dollar company. Like,
people bought these fucking skins when the game was good. They bought it because they liked the game. They cared for it.
Yeah, like in general, I really should not have bought that skin for Vanguard because I generally don't buy any sort of like microtransaction thing in a game if I don't regularly play it or I don't like love the game.
yeah.
And so like, Modern Warfare, I don't necessarily love Modern Warfare, but I played the fuck out of it. And so I was willing to buy a tracer pack gun and the that one character. And Vanguard, I saw it and it was like a stupid purchase. And I generally don't do that because it's like I'm not going to support something where they're not actively doing something good with the game.
Well, and it's like this is my thing. It's like, dude, for someone that has put in 75 days into Modern Warfare / Warzone, it's like, dude, for someone that's put that much time into the game, I should be able to have a bunch of cool shit in the game. I should have unlocked a bunch of cool things just by playing the game. I shouldn't have to spend $30 to get a cool camo.
Yeah, I remember like back in like fucking Modern Warfare 2 and shit. Everyone wanted like the Joint Ops title card.
Yeah.
Because they had the pot leaves and everything.
You had to work for that shit.
Yeah, and like that's just something that in modern gaming has kind of just gone away in general. Is everyone wants that instant gratification, so they just are like, okay, well, we can make money off of this. So instead of having to like work for it, feel like you earned it, and be proud that you got it, we'll sell you it. You're going to be happy you got it, but as soon as something else comes out that piques your interest, you're gonna buy that. Yep. And you're not gonna be, like, oh fuck, do I want to stop using this?
That's so wild to me, man. That's
you guys played Halo 3, right?
Yeah.
You were grinding to get that fucking flaming head and shit.
Yep.
And now you can just buy that.
Yeah.
It loses all meaning to actually grind in a game.
Or like in Halo Reach, you could get the full Mjolnir set and shit, and you had to get to like fucking like, I think you had to get to Brigadier just to get like the basic Master Chief helmet. And
there's also samurai stuff you could get if you get fucking even higher.
Yeah,
and I remember special challenge.
See,
I remember Halo 3. You could get the Ryu Hayabusa armor from Ninja Gaiden.
See, and that's my thing. It's like, dude, let the player play the game to unlock shit, not give us half-ass shit because with the battle pass, that's all we get is usually the battle pass, or we have to go buy it ourselves.
Yeah, and like most of the stuff you just unlock, it's like Okay.
And it's like most of it's basic stuff, dude. It's not even that good. It's so upsetting. It's like imagine being like Master Prestige in a game, or you put a bunch of days in a game, and it's like you don't get nothing. And I always see that with so many games I see. It's like all these people have cool stuff because they pay for it. It's like, how about you give it to people that actually play the game and unlock it? Like, I think the idea of unlocking it, it makes it better because then everyone has to try to go for that shit.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh shit, this guy's got the fucking like, it, it's kind of like the what the fuck is it called? The Damascus in Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Like early in the game, it was like, holy fuck, that dude has Damascus. That guy's some real fucking shit.
That guy is
'Cause
slapping.
It was it's like that. I think it was like 800 or 1,000 kills just for the weapon kill camo set.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's 1,000.
Yeah, and so it's like that dude has killed at least 1,000 people with each gun in the game, or at least primary gun. I think they reduced it to like 5 or 6, 700 or something like that for sidearms, but that was still like, holy fuck, this dude has the mask.
He just put time in the game, so it's like, wow.
FaZe Jeff. I like FaZe Jeff. He got all Damascus guns, and then he got all Obsidian. He got every single thing in the game that he could, just to be that guy.
Yeah, and I think that's a cool challenge to do, and I just wish they did more like stuff like that with calling cards and emblems
That's what he says.
and even
I
like
wish I got like a secret calling card or like emote for doing all of this.
or like a cool customization on your character. I mean, to be fair, your customization on a character doesn't really matter because you don't even see your person in general, but still it's cool to have like that. And I wished with blueprints, if they want to keep blueprints, it's fine, but my whole thing is like, if you're gonna do blueprints, have it where say if you change your attachment, it will change to whatever it is to the attachments you change, because once you change your attachment, that piece of the blueprint is gone. It's plain.
Yeah.
Your gun is plain. It's fucking. It just looks stupid.
Yeah, because I had that purple tracer pack for I don't remember the name of the gun. It was one of the first battle pass guns in Modern Warfare.
Maybe AMAX. Probably the AMAX. That's what I was thinking.
That was it was the Grau was the very first one, actually.
Grau.
The very first AR.
Yeah, I had the purple tracer pack for the Grau, and I remember I wanted it because the Grau was like top tier, and I just like the color purple. And again, I played the fuck out of the game. And then I was like, okay, so for Warzone, I need these attachments. And I started removing attachments and put on the new ones, and I was like, now my gun's just purple with a bunch of gray.
Mm-hmm.
It's just yeah. I mean, again, it's overall, it's things that they should put in the game. I get it. Every company wants to make. I agree. It's like, but I get it, you want to make money. Every company wants to make money, but it's like, bro, how about you make a game that you show that you give a fuck about people? Like, at least in the old CODs, even if they didn't really care about us and they just want to make money, at least they did a good job at doing it. They did a good job at making a game. You know, I mean,
these
dude,
AAA titles are blatantly disrespecting the players. They don't give a fuck.
They don't, and it's all rushed. That's why I would say 2 years is not enough. I think 3 years is better. Like, because 2 years is still like, dude, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't.
3 years is enough. I've been playing Modern Warfare for 3 years because I don't like the other CODs.
And it's still a good game. Like, I see people complain about Modern Warfare. I'm like, there's problems. I think the doors are stupid. I think the doors should never exist.
And it looks like the doors are not in Modern Warfare 2 from the intel drops.
I don't think doors should exist, and I don't think being able to get on every roof should exist in a multiplayer game. It's annoying, irritating, but it's like, and if you want to, the roof thing is stupid, but if you want to try doors, that's fine. You guys try the doors, but like the roof thing was unnecessary.
No, fuck doors, dude.
But
the doors should just be preset and open.
Man, I don't
just run through it like normal.
They're annoying, dude. I can't even run through a room without
being able to slide cancel through doors and break, like, just back and forth and breaking camera is so dumb.
Doors are fine, of course, when you're playing a BR. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Because you kind of want doors.
No.
You kind of want doors in general.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh fuck, someone came in this house.
BR makes sense, but not for multiplayer.
Agreed.
It's like it's just too much, too cluttered.
Oh, and that's another thing with now we got BRs. It's like Eugene hates BRs, which and I from his point of view I understand 100%. I do like them, but they are very over. What's the word? Saturated.
The market is oversaturated.
Yeah.
It's just in general, it's overdone because I mean,
dude, we got BR Counter-Strike. What the fuck?
Yeah, CS:GO.
Halo Infinite brought in a BR.
Did they actually bring it in?
Like it's in the multiplayer. It's called Last Man Standing, but it's only a 16-player one, so it's small.
Dude, that hurts my soul.
And it's teams of 2. It's duos and 16 players, and it's just small maps.
Not only did you not put any really content into the game, you do this shit. That's the shit that pisses me off is when you make a bad game and you can fix that game. Like I think Halo Infinite can be a really good game if they add content. They actually give a shit about the game, and it's like, but you put stuff like a BR in there that just pisses me off. I'm just like I couldn't imagine being a Halo fan and having to see this shit, man.
I uninstalled the game. I was like, what the?
It was in the beginning. It was great. I was having fun, but I was like. But they need content.
It got boring real quick.
Yeah.
I still haven't played the campaign.
I mean, do they even have co-op yet?
I think the co-op came out or is about to. I played the whole campaign. The campaign is actually really good.
And it's like, but at the same time, it's like it's one of those things where it's like I don't even know if Bailey and I are gonna want to play together because there's not real missions like old Halo Bailey. It's Far Cry.
And
Halo.
Well, my problem is it's like
the missions. Okay, but the missions. If you play the game, it's really fucking cool.
I mean,
how they connect to Cortana and stuff. There's some sad moments in it. There's some real sad moments. I'm like, damn, man.
But I'm also with Halo specifically, I'm really annoyed because between Halo 4 and Halo 5, you had to read a bunch of fucking books and shit. And then between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, you need to play Halo Wars 2. You need to read a few comics. You need to read a few books. You need to read fucking like they almost like pulled a Dark Souls, because in Dark Souls, if you want to understand the lore, you have to read fucking like item descriptions, and you have to read like codex pages and listen to audio recordings in Halo Infinite to understand what the fuck happened between Cortana is now the fucking like running the fucking like AI dudes, whatever the fuck they're called, and now she's dead. The human alliance bullshit, and it's like, what? Like, if you get the like basic Halo fan who isn't like a super nerd like my friend Brandon, they're gonna go from Halo 4 to 5 and be like, okay, what? But then they go to Halo 5 to Infinite. It's like, this makes no sense.
Yeah, from a point when you play the game, it actually explains a little bit. Not as much as I wish it did, but it does enough. So I was like, okay, I guess. It's like maybe they'll add like more sub stories and during the game's lifestyle to explain more.
I hope.
They did with the new season. They added more missions. With the season 2, the Lone Wolf thing, they added more missions to the campaign.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Can you replay the campaign yet or no?
Yeah, but you have to restart from the beginning.
Yeah,
because they're not missions. When you do the mission, it's over and that's on the map now.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you can restart it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been able to restart it for a little while. It was just initially you had to uninstall your progress.
That's like so dumb because especially Halo's always been a replayable, campaign.
At this rate for Infinite, you might as well wait for more seasons to come because they add more missions and more side stuff inside of the story because it's like they said, it's a growing world.
Well, so for me and Eugene, like we played all the Halos together in co-op, so that's why I wanted to play co-op on the new Halo.
Except for Halo Wars 1
and 5,
Halo Wars 2, and then Halo 5 because it's not on PC.
Yeah, so
I played Halo Wars 2 campaign with y'all. I played that campaign multiple times.
So yeah,
it's a good campaign. So is Halo Wars 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. I was like, I was so excited to play co-op. I always told you, like, I can't wait to play co-op with the new Halo. Can't wait to do it. And then, cause that's what we kind of did. We were like, let's just play all the Halos before the new one comes out. And they said they had a delay. And I was like, oh, this will be February, January. They delayed it again. Oh, it's not gonna start until the season starts. You're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, and then now it's what, August?
Well, no. So it was when the season starts, because the season started like a week after the game came out.
Or I should
Then
say
it
season
was,
2 in May.
So then it was January, February. Then it was May, and then they came out and were like, "Yeah, we don't know."
Who is running this shit, dude? Who are these people that fucking hype everyone up? Dude, I couldn't imagine this game came out the year before because it was supposed to come out that year. I couldn't even fucking imagine what this game would have been.
So part of the reason that the game is just so absolutely like fucked up is because 343 ended up outsourcing like half the game to another company, and I don't even remember the company. I don't even think it was a Microsoft company either, but like they outsourced it completely for like half the campaign or like the entire multiplayer or something, and it was like you had an extra year and you still had to outsource it. And then they were like, well, yeah, the reason why we ended up having to do it is because we outsourced it way before. And it was like, what are you doing? Like, what is taking
Just
so
do your
long?
job. How are you gonna buy this fucking thing from
And this
Bungie?
is not a small company. I mean, this isn't like some fucking, I don't.
Yeah, because 343, if I'm not mistaken, they were the ones who made the first Halo Wars.
Yeah, no. That was still Bungie, I'm pretty sure.
Well, Halo still owned, or was still owned by Bungie, but I think Bungie outsourced it to 343 at the time, because 343 was still owned by Creative Assembly, and Creative Assembly makes the strategy game Total War.
Yeah, no, I can see the opening. It does say Creative Assembly on like the opening screen. Like, when it shows like all the developers and all that.
Yeah.
It even says that in Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, I know Halo Wars 2 is Creative Assembly because I was aware of Creative Assembly by that point because I'd played Total War. And oddly enough, Creative Assembly also, even though they've only ever made like strategy games, made Alien Isolation.
Oh no shit!
Fantastic, dude.
That's like the most scariest horror game I've ever played.
I can say something. That is not the scariest game.
No,
until I witnessed, dude. I witnessed that game, and I told Eugene, I said, I will never play that game. I will never do it.
Yeah, Joe, you have Game Pass, right?
Yeah, he does.
Joe, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What game are you talking about?
It's a game called Visage, Visage.
I'm pretty sure you've seen clips of YouTubers playing it back in the day.
It is. It's basically. I remember when the game was in alpha years ago. It was when PT got Silent Hills got canceled. A lot of people were like, "Dude, what the fuck? This was going to be awesome." And so there was a team who made this game back in like 2016 and showed like alpha footage. And I remember sitting there and I was like, holy fuck, this is actually kind of like PT. And this is fucking creepy. And they made enough money on, I think, Kickstarter to make like a full game. And they changed a little bit of stuff up. But it is like the most fucked up game I've seen that is like, not just some like indie developer trying to be edgy.
It's really fucked up, and it's scary as fuck. It is beyond scary. It's scary. It's easily scarier than Alien Isolation.
I just say Alien Isolation is the scariest game I've played. I just said I played.
Yeah. No, it is scary.
Outlast, I can just make fun of. It's like, what are you gonna
See,
do? Huh?
see, that's the thing.
Wiggle around.
Outlast was a little scary, but after a while, like you play it, it's not that bad. Like it is like terrifying because you're just holding a camera.
Once you realize how you can like fuck with the game mechanics and loop the villains and stuff, it's like pretty easy to.
But
get
it's like
around.
Alien. You can't even run away. You're dead. You're
No,
gone.
So
he knows.
I know how to fuck with the alien AI. I don't. It's harder on like the harder difficulties, but my friend, he played the game through on Nightmare twice. He can just. He showed me like a couple weeks ago in the mission Bailey stopped playing on in the medical area.
Joe was there.
Okay, there's a way you can trap the alien using a flare and a noisemaker in the starting area, and he's just trapped there for the entire mission. And you can just walk, you can run through the whole level.
Oh my
You
god.
can dead sprint it, and he showed me, and I was like,
I feel like speedrunners do that.
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways you can fuck with the AI, but you just have to have a lot of time. My friend,
Is it Brandon?
Yeah, he played that game on medium, hard, Nightmare twice, hard again, and then Nightmare 2 more times.
Yeah, he's got that shit down.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Guys.
Like, he's ridiculous at that game. He showed me some of the like craziest fucking things that are just, you can break the AI. You might as well just like not have the alien in the game.
Yeah, but no normal person for the first time is gonna do that.
No.
We're gonna do this. I definitely want to start. I want to play some horror games for Halloween. When they get closer and closer, like especially like, starting like next month, because I want to download Phasmophobia on Steam. So
I'm down to play Phas.
We gotta still play House of
And
Ashes.
we can stream, dude. That'd be a good streaming content, and we can what is it called? We can do. I wouldn't even mind playing the Resident Evil games too.
I'm gonna put this out. If we ever go to Texas, if I ever go with Bailey, or if you come down here,
He's played the first one.
Xbox, and we're gonna play House of Ashes. It's a multiplayer. We all have our own characters.
Yeah, I played Man of Medan with.
Yeah, that shit was lit.
What?
I played that with Bailey.
What was that? What was the game we played together?
We played Man of Medan and we did Little Hope or whatever it was.
Yeah, Little Hope was boring.
Yeah, it was the ghost one. It was real. Oh, we survived.
Yeah, it was goofy. It was all right. I don't know. The first one, I thought the first one was better. You played the third one, so.
You know, it was funny when I played Man of Medan. I don't remember the name of the character.
Oh, he fucking, you guys. Joe, he fucked up the beginning. The character that's supposed to die.
Yeah, the character who he was the white guy who was like the party boy.
It was annoying one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my character. I ended up getting him killed on the boat, and so I ended up just not playing the game. I just watched my friends.
Isn't that Bailey? Because I gave you that guy.
No, he survived. It was the chick that died. It was literally the last. She was leaving. She was trying to get out the door, and the door closed on her. That was the last, and that was like the last thing to do in the game. And I fucking killed my character.
You killed the last person on the last button press.
Yes, I did actually.
That's the most like. That is the epitome of those kinds of games.
But like, you're the character that you died. Your character died. He, like me and Joe, like this guy's a dick. But after a while, his character got really good. His character was actually really done. I think it was my favorite character actually.
He like grows up a little bit.
Yeah, he stops being a fucking dick.
He still has his jokes, but he's still like, all right, this is a serious situation.
Yeah, pulled out his Giga Chad card. I'm just kidding.
But I also want to get House of Quarry. Like if we do.
Oh, then that's a new one, right?
We can get 8 people with that.
Yeah, the Quarry, that looks pretty fun. And I want to play that new game that came out called The Mortuary Assistant. That game looks fucking weird.
Oh, Joe, wait, is this a PlayStation exclusive? What was that game I played that was like those type of games? Until Dawn. Was it? That's on Xbox, right?
No, it's not. It's a PlayStation exclusive.
Ooh, Joe would like that one. That one's cool.
Until Dawn, my only issue with doing that multiplayer is just because it it was like one of the first ones of its kind to do that, and so it didn't have the you assign this person to this character thing.
Oh, dude. Throughout the story, there's a point you have to there's these things that are trying to kill you. You have to hold your breath. You have to hold your controller still, and I swear to God, that thing moves on its own, and you're like freaking out because it's fucking moving.
It moves on its own because it's mimicking the body, and your body moves even when you're breathing.
Yeah, dude, it was. Oh my God,
breathing, you're still moving.
Yeah, I was like,
move when fucking Hannah, is that her name? She's the main one.
Yeah.
Like, after you.
oh, she got murdered. Murdered.
So
The
fun to
fucking Asian bitch, God, I hated
Dude.
her.
Oh my God.
At the beginning. I couldn't get her to fucking die for so long.
Dude, you kept telling me she was such a bitch. She was such a bitch. I didn't know until I played the game, and I was like, bro, she's dying. Oh, and she fell to a really bad death.
Yeah, but it like.
Oh no, she survived. She survived the fall.
Yeah, she survives the fall, and it's like, motherfucker, you keep trying to kill her, and then finally when you do, you're like, thank you.
Oh, she got her head taken off.
It's about damn time.
Oh no, she's terrible. She's such a bitch. Cause she's such a bitch and to her boyfriend and shit. Her boyfriend.
She's kind of the reason why the I don't remember the actor's name, but he went on to do actual shit in like TV shows. His sister was the one who dies in the first section of the game. It's literally this bitch's fault. Like it is her fault.
Oh,
she ended up running out and getting fucking killed.
Joe, I think one of the characters is from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know the guy that turns bad, or he was a spy or something in the beginning of the show.
Or that's Mark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in that game. I think, from what I remember. I don't remember. I think.
They have the same voice. It's modeled off his face. Mark is Ward. Mm-hmm.
So, good game, man. Good game. And then you can actually play Beyond Two Souls and try it out. I think that game is fantastic. I don't know if the PS3, it was like their first game they've ever made of that. I think it was on the PS3. It was Rain. What is it?
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain.
The first one.
Oh, really? I thought it was like one of their.
No, they had something on the PS2 called Indigo Prophecy.
Oh, but it's one of their first ones. You could tell too.
It was their first big one.
That's a good game.
Indigo Prophecy was like it is kind of like an. I don't want to. It's a cult game. Let's call it that. It's like a cult classic kind of thing.
They're pretty good. But my problem, you can tell it's an older game because the controls are weird. And you notice like the more games they make, they're better. The controls are easier and make more sense. But it was a good game. It was. You're like, who the fuck's the murderer? So
yeah.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna have to play some horror games. Joe, if there's a game you should play, is Dead Space. Dead Space is great.
Yeah, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can play Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the DLC makes it better.
Oh, the
2, good ass shit.
Dude, and 2 is creepy as shit.
Every time I start like campaigns and single player games, I just forget about it halfway through and move on to a different one. I'm just inconsistent with them.
I don't have that issue. I'm different. For me, it's more like if I start a single player game, it's either like it has to be boring as shit for me to forget about it, or like a new game came out that I've been hyped about and I go.
I'm pretty good. I'm actually. It's weird. Like I'll forget where I'm at in the game, but the moment I get into it, I'm like, oh, I remember everything now, for the most part. Unless I like stop playing. If it's been a couple years and then I continue, I would just restart the game at that point. Well, it's like Doom. It's like Doom. I started playing it this year. I tried to continue what I was doing last year, and I was fucking up because I forgot that it's better to use the gun on certain AI.
Enemies have certain weaknesses, and certain weapons work better on certain enemies.
And I definitely noticed They use that heavily on the second one compared to the first one.
Oh, and no, in Doom 2016, if you just want to use the fucking shotgun the whole game, you pretty much can.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Doom Eternal, they saw that and were like, okay, yeah, no, like you actually have to have some fucking like semblance of strategy and actually like try.
Which is fine, and that's a good game, dude. That's why I kept telling Amber, I was like, dude, you need to play this game. You like this type of shit? Play this. It's fast paced. Got fucking the best music blasting in your ear. And that's another thing too, is I can't even think of a game that's even like that. Where you're fighting demons, you got fucking you got music blasting in your ears.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the gameplay style.
No.
There's not a. You get into that with like some of the more like rhythm games because there's this game coming out. I don't remember what it's called. It's like Gunmetal or something. It's a rhythm shooter where you aim at an enemy and then the crosshair gets smaller and smaller, and when it gets to a certain point you shoot and it's on a beat. There's games like that, but Doom is still that's not really what Doom is, but you know there's things pseudo similar, I guess.
What game we need to play on stream, I'm probably gonna post this on YouTube, is us playing Outlast, the new one.
Oh, Outlast Trials?
Yep.
Oh, the third one?
Yeah.
Yo, you can play that. It's gonna be crossplay. It's gonna let you play it.
I'll probably get it on PS5.
Crossplay, actually. We can all do that at our homes.
I'd be down to play the Quarry then.
So what? So the Quarry is like a horror, just a horror game, right?
Yeah, it's a horror game.
Okay, I've heard things about it. I don't know any. The only thing I do know it's like a horror game, but that's pretty much it. I don't know. So it's pretty much like a what is it, like Detroit Become Human, like those type of games where you can choose what you want to do.
Just think with those, it's cool that it's better in person. Because I have an idea that if we have enough people, you can have cards, and those cards you can say I'm playing my card, and you can change someone's decision before they make it. You know, because if they're about to do something you don't like, you're like, nigga, fuck that. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
And then you just take control for that one decision. Because it also makes it, even if you get your character killed, you're still in it and involved.
Dude, we gotta do cool. I think that'd be fun. If you guys haven't noticed, so in my stream I did something different. I added stuff for my channel points. Scav knew right away. This man used 1,400 of his points, and it was like, it said something about like, it's like choose something the streamer can't do while he's playing the game. So he's like, you can't manually reload your gun.
Oh. So
in one game I had to just use all my. I was like, fuck, I gotta reload. I just started shooting at the wall. So there's stuff like that, and even like the reason I talk about that, it'd be a good idea for like when we play other games, we can do like have fun games like that, or like I think. I forgot who did it with me. So someone played back in the day. Someone played Fortnite with me, and we did like a drinking Fortnite game where like every time you had a fucking heal, you had a drink or some shit like that.
I think that was Zane.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, I'd get fucked up every time you got a heal.
Yeah. So I mean, that'd be cool to like do stuff like that. It doesn't have to involve with drinking, but.
Take a shot every time you have to use a plate in Warzone.
Oh, dude, we're dead at the end of the game. Dead on the ground.
Seconds, pretty much.
Do it on a Resurgence Rebirth.
Yeah, it's like, oh god. But yeah, man, I said this before. I think in the last podcast, it's like I would like, and well, not what I like. This is what we're gonna be doing. Is with the podcast, I really want to start posting reviews, on movies and stuff. And I would like to do reviews in here too, but it'd be dope just to have a dedicated video, just have like a review on a game or a movie that recently just came out, or even an older movie. And we just like, let's talk about it because it's that interesting. Like, say we haven't seen Interstellar, we all haven't seen Interstellar, which we have. I know we have.
I haven't.
Really. So say that we all haven't seen it and we're like, wow, this movie's amazing. Let's go talk about it. Like, let's do a review. Because honest to God, I remember I showed Andrew and the guys at the house where we watched it, and after that movie, we sat there and we talked about the movie for hours because there were so much cool things. There were so many cool things in the movie that it just made you think about that shit. So,
Dude, I think about space daily.
dude, it's something that you can talk about forever. I mean, it's so interesting.
Eugene, I know you've seen The Social Network. Eugene, have you seen The Social Network?
No.
Mark Zuckerberg and his college days and how he started. Andrew
No.
Garfield, it's so good. It's such a good movie.
Gene loves that man.
I would recommend watching it because it makes fun of Zuckerberg a little bit.
Good.
Anyone that makes fun of him, that's great. But let's get okay. So my question is for both of you guys, like, what are you guys mainly excited for, or what's your most anticipated game that you're looking for in the future?
Modern Warfare 2.
2, and why is that?
I like Call of Duty.
I mean, I know that, but it's like, why do you want Modern Warfare 2? Why can't we get, like, I don't know, Vanguard 2?
Why is it that you're choosing Modern Warfare 2 over something like,
I just don't. Games just aren't the same for me. COD's the same. It's made from the same developer of Modern Warfare. I like Infinity Ward. I like what they do.
Fair.
It's just like the Modern Warfare series.
It's funny. I've noticed this. So the Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare through 3, the first series was great. It's fantastic. And it's like, and then after Black Ops 2, it kind of went downhill. And then here, they'll have games here and then that are good. And then it's like, all of a sudden we got like Modern Warfare back. I'm like, fuck, dude. It's like, this is awesome. Like, I haven't had this much fun in a long time. And it's like, if we get MW2 and it's really good, it's like, that's pretty impressive, to be honest, to swing back back to like Modern Warfare and do a good job.
I think it's going to, like, from the intel drops and the maps they're making it not as
Guys, I need to tell you something about this. The people that are making the Call of Duty maps, I actually read this a while back. The people that are making the MW2 maps are the people that made CSGO maps.
Nice.
That's really good. That's actually really good because the maps in Counter-Strike are really good, especially for competitive.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I do like about CS:GO is the maps. Like, I don't like the gameplay style that much, but the maps are genuinely, like, yeah, those are really good.
And that's why I always say this. I don't like Ghost. The campaign was great, but I just didn't like the multiplayer that well. But I will say the map layout felt like Counter-Strike in a way because you had to watch the cross, and not every CS map you can watch the cross, but like Dust 2, for instance, that was like that with a lot of S&D Ghost maps because of that. That game was made for S&D. It was a S&D game. I don't know why, but it was. But
downfall were really the maps, but I loved Extinction. I loved the multiplayer. I loved the gunplay, and I loved how fast the TTK was.
I do like the guns. There's the Vector and the MTAR were the shit, or the Remington. What the dude? That's the thing too. Is like when you're watching the cross, my buddy Ray, we'd have a Remington with the it was like the 8. It was like the, what is it? I think it was like
hybrid sight.
Yeah, and it'd flip back and forth to the and man, dude, that was badass. Or we had the sniper. I forgot what the sniper was called in that game. But
was just the
this man would watch. It was nice. He'd watch the cross. Like, okay, no one went A. Cool. They're going B. Oh, everyone's going B. Awesome. But like, it's cool when you hear him shoot and he gets a kill off the cross. Like, oh fuck, like that was a big deal. So yeah, man, I would like to see that happen again. I wouldn't want, of course, I wouldn't want the maps to be that big. I think they made the maps a little too big in that game. But
I see MW2 doing there. It's everything sounds great. I
Well-
love the map code because it has a shoot house feel. It just there's some outside areas, but all of it directs you to go to the middle and fight instead of doing all these loop de loops. Fucking, I can jump up here and go around here, parkour over here to be behind you. It's just all straightforward.
I'm wondering what they're gonna do with the game mode that's supposed to be like Tarkov. They're doing a game mode that's supposed to be a representation of what Tarkov is right now. I don't know exactly what it, I mean, it's a cool concept. I mean, they do a good job. It's dope. But
that would
I hope my you know what, one thing, it's not like gonna change the game itself, but I hope they continue the gun sounds, what they did with Modern Warfare.
Oh no, they'll be great. They'll be great.
Because the Modern Warfare gun sounds, I remember me and Eugene playing the beta for Gunfight. We're like, holy shit. I remember shooting the Deagle. I was like, dude, this sounds awesome.
Yeah.
You know what they did, right? They actually went to a gun range and they just took sounds of actual guns.
I mean,
Well,
that's what that's what a lot of companies do. But for some reason, they make the gun sounds terrible. I don't know why. Like Battlefield does that, especially with like, with their guns. They'll try to like replicate with like of the sound of the real sound of like an M4 or something.
the CODs are like futuristic and stuff. They do that, but they tweak it to make it sound
Weird.
and just unnatural. And with the World War II guns, there's not a lot.
Oh, and then, dude, and then I remember when we got Cold War after Modern Warfare, I was like, dude, this is awful. The gun sounds are terrible.
Awful, felt awful. It just felt. It was just
Yeah, but
such a different.
yeah, man, we're getting a campaign we're getting another campaign this year. We're gonna be getting Warzone 2. Warzone 2 is good, great. I hope it is. If it's anything like Verdansk, I'm happy. I don't give a shit. I'm happy.
I don't know if I'm gonna be that into Warzone 2.
But I'm more excited for the campaign and the multiplayer because we're also getting Terminal. And let me tell you something. Terminal is my baby. It's my map right there. And I believe we're getting High Rise too, which is gonna bring back the snipers.
Dude, I love sniping.
So,
But out of all MW2 maps, Terminal was your favorite? Not MW2, MW3.
no, it was from MW2. Terminal
No,
was.
I remember it more from MW3 because
Yeah.
I was too young in MW2. I
Yeah.
was 9, but I don't really remember it that much.
Yeah, so that was yeah, Terminals from NW2, and yeah, I played it more on NW3 just because I played NW3 more than most CODs. But yeah, dude, that map is fantastic. Well, and what was great about NW3 also playing on that map is the spawns were very, very predictable. Even kill confirm. Like nowadays when I play kill confirm or anything that's like that, I don't even know where the fuck people are spawning half the time, I swear. Like they always fucked up with the spawns on new CODs. Like on NW3, I knew where these fuckers were for the majority.
The thing about spawning in Modern Warfare that I hate is you zoom out and you see yourself go into your character still.
Yeah,
I hate that.
that's only in Modern Warfare, which is weird. It's a weird thing they even added.
It's goofy. Because it lets you see your surrounding area and see people running up or running, and then you see yourself. It's so dumb.
Yeah. I think they fixed it because I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
Still there.
Like I feel like it was way worse when we first played it.
It literally, when it first came out, it was the whole map, and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was the whole map.
now it's just like a sliver. Of
Yeah.
Like your surrounding area.
Or just get rid of it and give me my character, fuckers.
A normal spawn, and you just spawn in.
So for you, it's NW2, which I'm excited. Eugene, what game is like? or games, I should say, because knowing you got games instead of one game that you're excited about. But
I will. Before I answer, are you just talking to come out in 2022?
any
or-
future games, it could literally be coming out. They announced they won't be coming out for fucking 60 years from now. It doesn't
mean,
matter.
Obviously, then whatever the next FromSoft Souls like is would be one, but we don't know anything about that other than they're working on it and are like halfway through.
Have you noticed? You're excited for the next game they make it. That's very rare to hear, because most games that announce a new game, people are like, eh. But like when they say there's a game coming out from that company, people get excited because they know it's gonna be a good game. That never happens. That never happens. When like that's what I've noticed about this. So far, this is one of the few companies ever today that have made consistently good games. They're not perfect, but they've made really good games. Like I was telling Eugene yesterday, I was like, dude, not only did they make Dark Souls 3, they made Bloodborne. Both of those games came out within a year. I'm just like, I don't know a company that could do that.
No, I don't either. But some of the bigger ones, obviously God of War Ragnarok. I only got the fucking platinum in that game.
Yeah, Shake was like, yo, have you played it? I just laughed. I was like, this man got platinum. This man put some hours into the game.
Oh yeah. The Callisto Protocol, because you give me something like Dead Space.
Oh yes.
Well, and so that game, you remember that guy, your mom, hello cat, that game that the guy that your mom met at the hospital who worked on Dead Space.
Yeah, it's the guy that made World War II COD. But yeah.
Yeah. So the guy who made the original Dead Space, he had some issues in his personal life while they were making Dead Space 3. And he ended up having to step down like halfway through or something, which is part of the reason why Dead Space 3 was not nearly as good. Why it felt like Dead Space, but also not like Dead Space.
I felt like you're playing a Michael Bay film.
Yeah, and the DLC, he came back and he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try and salvage this."
And it was literally Dead Space 2, but in 3.
Yeah, and but unfortunately, by the time that DLC had come out, the damage had been done, and so that it got canceled. Visceral ended up getting dissolved by EA, and so he was pissed. So he is the one behind the Callisto Protocol, and this is him going, "I'm doing this again. I'm doing Dead Space again, but it's going to be under my terms and no limitations from EA." This is him going, "I'm doing what I wanted to do in the first place." And so
I'm all about it, man.
Yeah, and the little bit that we saw of gameplay, it was like a 2.5 minute trailer. It was fucking awesome.
When you said that to me, I just like, I'm buying this. Like, I'm already buying this. You don't have to show me anything else, dude. You've gotten my money. Take my money now.
Yep.
I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks literally like Dead Space on the fucking tee.
Yep. And then the other two I'm looking forward to would be Final Fantasy 16, just because I like Final Fantasy. It's fun.
Too many of them, man. So many of them.
I can go into that on another thing, but Resident Evil 4 remake. I love Resident Evil. That is the OG right there. And I think 4 didn't necessarily need a remake because it's still a really good game. The only issue 4 has is just that if you're someone who hadn't played 4 or 5 or any of the games before it, before 6 or 7 had come out, you go back to that and you're like, this plays really weird. And it's a shame because 4, while it is the reason why we ended up with really shitty Resident Evil games, was still a fucking great game.
I have an idea.
They it needs a remake just simply because the gameplay is so old and like you can't move and aim at the same time. Like if you aim, your guy is, and when you try, you're not like moving a crosshair around.
It has
You're
a
moving a
laser.
little. Yeah, you move a laser around the screen like that,
Yeah.
and so it's that's the only reason it needs a remake. But
I know a game you're excited for, bud.
what?
Jedi.
Yeah, I think all three of us are pretty excited for Jedi Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, I'm pre-ordering that game.
Once it's available,
If they have a cool special edition, I will buy it. I will buy it. I will do it.
Oh yeah.
they
They-
need to make an exclusive PlayStation for it with lightsaber sound effects. It's the perfect time.
It is a missed opportunity if they don't. I mean, that game comes out 7 months from
Wait,
now, so-
explain the stream to that, Joe. Like what you're talking about.
You know, okay, so you can have it
Stream. I meant podcast.
on. You just hear the boom, and then you see lights up, and then the PlayStation 5 turns on. That would be
Yeah,
fucking cool.
Agreed.
yeah.
I'd spend
I,
extra.
Dude, one of the best PlayStation 4 bundles was the Destiny 2 one. I don't know why.
it was Destiny: The Taken King. That's what it was.
Yeah, that one looked cool. And it wasn't like, sometimes they'll put covers on that are just half-ass stickered on. I mean, this was literally this was on the case. It was in the case.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like, oh, slap a sticker on it. Here's the bundle sticker and all that to make it look different on the case. But yeah, it looked dope. I don't know why. Even Xbox, I have not seen an Xbox. The new Xboxes do it either. So
I think the only ones on the Xbox One that got a special edition was in Advanced Warfare got one, and it was actually kind of cool. And then they had one for Battlefield 1. And it is the Xbox One I have, and it is literally just an Xbox One S that is like a forest green.
no, I'm saying like on the new Xbox.
Bundle, and they changed the Xbox One S, so it's like blue and white, and it had like blue accent lines. And
That's pretty cool.
Ooh, and, like when you turn it on, it actually does that for a second.
That's dope.
And you know what? The Xbox Series X did have a bundle. Joe's right. Halo Infinite.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, because remember, Amber wanted it.
I would pay $1,400 for a PlayStation with that if it came with a lightsaber as well. Like you can have a How's lightsaber, and they can just have a deal with Disney.
Man, oh man, I'm just excited for Jedi. And the thing is too, we literally saw like a 32 like a 2-minute clip, and we're like, and it wasn't even the gameplay; it was just cinematic shit. You're like, nut.
Dude, I saw Cal and said, "Say less."
And he has a beard.
Mm-hmm.
Or like not really a beard, but
taking place in Kenobi, the Survivor one, I think.
I'm
pretty sure that's during Kenobi, and all that time period.
I'm just excited, man. Everyone liked the game. I think it's funny. I can say stream podcast. Like anyone that knows me likes to look at reviews on shit just to make fun of people. Because I love looking at 1-star reviews on like the Souls games or even Jedi. The Jedi one was funny because people were saying that game was too hard to play. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, dude, they literally have story mode where that difficult
combat is so easy. You basically block at any time and it's a parry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if these guys played any of the Souls games, they would they'd be fucked.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Joe, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. But yeah, for me it's Jedi or MW2. MW2 it's kind of an obvious thing. It's like I want a new Call of Duty. We've had Modern Warfare, been playing it for 3 years, and we're finally getting a new COD. So
Hopefully, like fuck Vanguard, fuck Cold War. Those are just
I like Cold War for zombies. Cold War zombies is probably my favorite zombies mode now.
I mean
Um,
the Black Ops
but
3. You Black Ops 3 Zombies is the shit. It was
I have heard that a lot. I just never really played it.
need to. I'm actually thinking about re-getting Black Ops 3 just for zombies.
oh, Joe, if you get a PS5, it's in the game, or it's in the game. You get the DLC and shit.
Yeah, you get it comes with Zombie Chronicles. It doesn't come with all the DLC, but it does come with Chronicles.
Which there's quite a bit of stuff in there.
Yeah, it had a few throwback maps like Ascension, Kino. Not Dare Reese, because Dare Reese they had a
I thought they had Derice on there.
they have Dare Reese, but it was a remake map made.
Oh,
for,
it's a different
Black Ops
name.
3.
It's a different name.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't part of Chronicles. It was something different.
Yeah.
Chronicles is Kino Numa, Kino Deer Toten, Origins, Ascension,
Moon,
Verruff,
I think.
Moon's in there, yeah.
and then there's one more I'm missing.
Yeah, you are.
The actual Zombie Chronicles map made for Chronicles.
No. It's the Chronicles is 8. It's 4 maps from Black Ops 2 and 4 maps from Black Ops 1. Classic ones, and I can't think of the last one. I want to say
Oh, Call of the Dead. I think
Yeah.
it's Call of the Dead.
I don't know if it's that for sure.
I know Black Ops
No, it's
4 had Call.
Shangri-La. It's Shangri-La, not Call of the Dead.
That's yeah.
It's Shangri-La.
Yeah, that was on World at War.
No, it wasn't. Shangri-La was
Shangri-La
on
was-
Black Ops.
Mhm.
Shino Numa.
Shino Num, yeah. I heard, yeah. Yeah, I mean, oh, and I heard the story's really good. That's the weird part. Like, that's the only Call of Duty I never bought the DLC, and that was like the best DLC to buy it.
I didn't buy any until I decided I wanted to play the zombies on it, and I bought a couple of the maps, but I didn't buy all of them because the zombies on that game is weird, with like the bubble gums and shit. No, you know what? I did buy one Black Ops 3 DLC because it had the Der Eisendrache map, and I loved
Yeah.
that map.
That is my favorite map. I love the bows.
I never played it enough to do any of the Easter eggs because my friend and I would just play it from time to time at my house, just killing time before his mom came to pick him up after school. That was it.
Nah, you should get Black Ops 3 and you do the Zombie Chronicles. It's such a blast. Like,
Yo, you get a PS5, we can all play it.
that
Yeah.
will be it for sure.
That'd be fun. I'll be down.
I do want to play Vanguard Zombies because apparently they fixed it quite a bit.
That's what I did when he said that. I heard they fixed it too. We could try it. I have never even opened up zombies ever on that game.
I opened it once. I looked at a class. I don't even think I'm. You know what? When I was playing the campaign the other last week, I did make a class. I was gonna start a solo game, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna go play something else because I didn't want to play solo.
You know what they need to do? This is like so simple. Stop making zombies on new CODs. Like we gotta put zombies. We gotta do all. How about this? Just have zombies on its own. Have all the maps, and then make new ones here and then, and just have a good. People will support it. People will play it. So
No, I think it's fine. I just think they need to get Treyarch to do zombies, which from what I'm hearing about, when Xbox or Microsoft takes over, I think Treyarch is going to be primarily doing zombies, and Infinity Ward I think is primarily going to be doing multiplayer, and I think Sledgehammer is going to be primarily doing campaign, and then Ravensoft is going to be kind of like floating and helping.
You know,
The thing is, like, does do pretty good campaigns. They did Infinite Warfare campaign. That was a great campaign.
Infinite Warfare had the most underrated campaign.
very for a shitty game. It was a very
They
good
went all
campaign.
in on campaign. They put everything they had into the campaign because they knew multiplayer was going to be shit.
Yep.
I don't even know what to say, man. That game or that campaign itself, it was just I didn't even expect it. It didn't.
I didn't expect to feel a connection to a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like it was the first COD to do something where we're not even on Earth, bro.
Yeah, you were flying in ships. You were fucking.
This is some Halo shit.
You were fighting for Earth. It put you very much into the driver's seat for defending Earth.
Yeah, it was like Mass Effect meets Halo.
Mm-hmm.
It was dope. I would totally replay that.
You guys are doing a festival of all the countries being united, and then these people out of nowhere just attack. They kill a lot of people, and you're like, dude, fuck these guys. That's what it did. It just got you attached to defending your home.
Let's go fuck some shit up.
It's hard for me to like be connected to something. Oh, we got to save Earth. I don't give a fuck. But that game actually kind of made me. It was like, oh shit, hold on.
And maybe we'll talk about this.
And you're like a small team. You're on a different planet. You're investigating about what the Federation. They're doing some sus shit, and then they kill all the team. It was Jon Snow. He was the main, and he says save the bullets and just crushes their mask and lets them fucking breathe out to death or suffocate to death. I don't know why I said breathe out.
Dude,
the story was amazing.
Since we're talking about games, of course, this is kind of the whole podcast episode about games. But it's crazy. It's like, and we've already pointed this out too. It's like a small margin of it because there's so many things we can complain about. But it's like modern games itself. It's like, what the hell happened?
So,
and in ways we do know.
I can go into this in a few different ways. The biggest one that I've kind of touched on a little bit is the instant gratification, not just from players, but from the companies themselves. And it kind of started with the players. I like to blame things like Amazon, where like and like all the modern like what do you call it? I don't know, modern living, we'll call it. Just it incentivizes you to keep buying new thing. Don't care about what it is. Don't care about longevity. Just buy the new thing. Keep forking out the money. And so the game companies eventually, they were like, okay, yeah, we don't have to really work on it. We don't even really have to make a new thing. We can give you the same thing, and people are going to buy it, and they're not going to ask any questions other than, does it function? Am I playing a game is all that they're going to care about. And yep, that's all it is. It's just
Money.
They realized I can make a lot of money, and the players are still going to buy it anyways, and I don't have to care about keeping people around, because next year or maybe in 2 years I'll make the same thing, make all my money back again.
I said this before. I understand. We want to make money. Everyone wants to make fucking money. I get that. I do. I truly do. In my honest opinion, if I'm going to make money, if I'm making something like this, making content for something, I would want to do my best to throw it out there.
Yeah.
It's my brand. I want to make it the best possible. Not let's half-ass it, and then we'll make a shit ton of money. And I get it, but it's like
it's just the corporate thing to do is, you know, they don't see you as a person, they see you as a dollar sign. I mean, this extends not even just like consumer,
people that work in the industry.
yeah, and like even just like even outside the gaming industry. I mean, I work for Office Depot, and they don't see me as Eugene Martin, the sales advisor at store 2134. They see me as employee 972928.
Yeah.
That's it. And in the gaming industry, it's the same thing. They see not only the CEOs, the board, all that shit. They don't see the employees working for them, putting their heart and soul into the game as employees with lives and children and loved ones. They see them as, you are a means to my end of making money.
Well, for me too, it's like my grandma died or late December. I remember I told work, I was like, yo, like I'm gonna need some days off when my grandma has my funeral and stuff. And dude, it was such a bitch to get those days off. And I was like, I'm not working it. I won't work it. Like, and the thing is too, is I'm a salesperson. So no one's relying on me. No one's gonna be like, fuck, we're screwed today. Where's Bailey? It's everyone's their individual work. Everyone does their own work. Everyone makes their own commission. It's their own thing.
Yeah, and the other employees are going to be happy about it because that means more sales come to them.
Yeah,
There's not
exactly.
another person
Exactly. And so, dude, it was such a bitch. And then they didn't pay me. I had to bitch and moan for them to pay me. And so,
Fuck?
yeah, and I mean, I'm working 10-hour shifts, so if I miss 2 or 3 days, that's a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like, I need these days off because they did that for our company where you can take days off if someone dies, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, who is it? I was like, my grandma. I'm like, oh, okay. We don't know if we can cover it. I'm like, it's my grandma. It's not like she's like she's not my fucking cousin's sister's, friend's dog's grandma,
Yeah. And, it's something I've talked about a little bit with you, and I talk a lot about with my friends Brandon and Sean, is the Japanese probably have the reason why a lot of the games I enjoy the most that are like new games are Japanese is because the Japanese don't have the same kind of
Lifestyle as Americans.
well, not just that, it's they don't have the same kind of like they still have some of the issues of like crunch time, the corporation kind of bullshit, but they also don't have this Western um, everything has to be PC. And I'm not trying to be like political here. It's just like in Japan, it's not oh, we have to have a certain number of women, we have to have a certain number of black people on the team to diversify. In Japan, it is simply, do you want to make a video game? Do you want to work for this company?
or do we need to make political points or put political stuff in our game to make a point? It's like, do we need to make a short hair woman and is also a lesbian and also is black? Do we need to make this character because of this?
Yeah, and it part of it is, yes, a cultural difference and lifestyle difference, like Joe said, but like for them, the gaming industry is, it doesn't matter. They don't care who you are. Do you want to make a game? Do you want to work for this company? Are you good for the job?
Exactly.
Yes or no?
Exactly.
And if they want you, they'll have you. I know Hideo, for people who don't know, he made like Metal Gear Solid, all those games, and most recently Death Stranding. he has women who work on his team,
Mailman.
and he doesn't make a big deal about it. And I have very strong opinions about Hideo.
He made the Mailman simulator,
Yes,
aka Death Stranding.
yeah, but something I do respect is that he doesn't like make a big deal about, oh, I have women working for me. He has women working for him.
And I'm sure.
Cares?
And I'm sure.
They do the same work.
Yeah.
And yes, Death Stranding is not a super great game, but I did enjoy my time playing it. Because it was kind of fun to just kick back, walk, and it did have some fun sections where, oh shit, now I actually have to be stealthy and actually have to think about, okay, where am I going? What is the best way to approach the situation?
Yeah.
And the game did get a bit tedious, especially towards the end when they make you walk from the west coast of the U.S. to the east coast of the U.S. Not joking. But the Japanese, so many of their games, and pretty much all of them, are so good nowadays because they don't have this like, we have to make this message, we have to make these people happy, we have to sacrifice this stuff. The guy has an idea, he makes it, comes out,
and that's how
people like it, they buy it. If they don't like it, he doesn't make enough money,
and
he doesn't do it again.
That's how it should be in the gaming industry and the movie industry. It should be your ideas of stuff you want to do, not just like, let's make a point to the public,
Yeah. And Bailey knows one of my favorite Japanese games is Persona 5.
Oh God.
And yes, it's not like some politically driven thing, but there is a message to the game, but it's not only applicable to this subgroup or liberals only or conservatives only. It's the point of the game can apply to anyone. It can apply to Bailey's son. It can apply to my 70-year-old dad. It's making art. Yes, it is subjective. Yes, art should have some sort of message, and it usually does, conveyed
Agreed.
by the person who makes it. But it in massively consumed media, you don't have to sit there and I have to appease these people, because then you're going to limit the people that you're going to reach.
Well, and it also just feels forced. It has to be natural. That's my problem. It's like no one's mad that there's a lesbian in the game. No one cares. It's how you put it in the game, and it's how you make that character. It's the same problem with that's my same problem with like movies. It's like, I don't care. And some people really think that no one wants like women being, people criticize. So I've seen people get mad because people criticize lead roles that are women, and it's always leaving. Oh shit. Let me fix this real quick. And that's the thing. I'm just like, I don't care if it's a woman or a man. I just care if it's good character.
Exactly. It's like we can compare two very famous examples in video games. Lara Croft and Ellie in The Last of Us 2. Specifically The Last of Us 2 I'm bringing up. Lara Croft, everyone loves because the game was never trying to be like, it's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you're playing as a chick. Cool. Lara Croft is badass. I liked the new okay, to be fair, I haven't played Rise of the Tomb Raider or Shadow.
Rise is great so far.
That's what I've heard. But I played quite a few of the old ones, and I played the 2013 reboot. She's just fun to play as. She's a good character. She's well written. She has good motivations. They're interesting stories, and they never really make a point of she's a woman.
She has to prove to these men, that's my thing. It's like, dude, I never understood why movies and games have to put this out there that the woman needs to prove to the men. The woman especially nowadays, the white men. It's like, how about just have a character just trying to prove to herself that she can do it. Prove to herself to do what needs to be done. I don't understand. No one should. And that's the thing too. I feel like so there's people in real life are like this too. It's like, dude, worry about yourself. Prove to yourself that you want. Do these challenges for yourself, not because you're trying to prove to this person. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Like in the 2013 reboot, there was a lot of times where Laura was like, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah, I remember that.
She's trying to prove it to herself that she's capable, and she's trying to survive for herself and for her.
And she gets better and better with her surviving instincts too.
Yeah, whereas it's not quite as atrocious as I'm making it out to be in The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 was mostly like they were just shitting on the character, but they also were really trying to force at the beginning.
Oh, Ellie.
Yeah, with Ellie, that she's lesbian. It's like, we knew this because of the DLC, and even in the DLC for the first game, they weren't like forcing it down your throat like, she's lesbian and you're gonna fucking like it. It was, she's lesbian. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, her girlfriend died. That's sad. Now you know part of her backstory and why she has issues trusting people. And
she's a lesbian, and no one cares. I got two lesbian girls, or two girls. I don't even have daughters. I have two lesbian sisters, and I don't. I even talked to them about this stuff. I'm like, what do you guys think about people putting their bio that they're lesbian and stuff like that? And they're just like, it's so dumb. It's like, why do you need to tell people that you're lesbian? Who cares?
Yeah, it's like, if it like I worked with a gay guy back at Chili's, and two. One of them, I suspected he was gay. I didn't know until I had worked there for probably 3 months. And it was just like in conversation, just like,
literally, I just talked to my sister about this. Her boss, she's working for a company for like 3 or 4 years, and her girlfriend came by, dropped something off, and the manager's like, "Oh, who's that?" "Oh, that's my girlfriend." And it was like, "Huh? I didn't know you were gay." My sister's like, he's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" I was like, "I don't know. I just didn't think it was important. I'm just working." like I noticed that, dude. It's like, I don't understand why, but going back to gaming, it's like, things don't need to be forced. It can be in the game. No one's saying it can't be, but it's more just being natural about it. You don't have to.
It's like, we can just, The Last of Us 2, for example, yes, they didn't force it super duper hard like some other like movies and shows do, but like they still kind of forced it pretty hard at the beginning, with some of the other like sub-story bullshit.
Even the dialogue.
Yeah, but like if they had just changed it, they didn't keep forcing it and telling you. And there's just that scene where Ellie kisses Dina, and it's like, okay, like they did in the DLC that they ended up kissing. It was like, okay.
Don't get me started with Last of Us 2, and that's the thing too. If they had all that stuff, but had a good game, I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't care. I mean,
yeah, most of my issues with Last of Us 2 are more so with the like shitting on Joel and other characters, but the in general, I think media has just gotten to the point where
it's just there. It's just there.
Yeah, it's like I really wouldn't care if in a lot of these shows and movies where if it was just like naturally like episode 1, he's talking to some guy, they kiss, okay, whatever, and it's never really like forced down your throat. But so many things in Western media just keep on like, in interviews and shows, or not shows, in interviews, in releases on tweets, they're like, they're gay. Oh, by the way, they're gay. Hey, did you know that they're gay? Or did you know that they're black?
Oh, well,
it doesn't matter.
Who cares? Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, dude, just if you want to cast a black guy, cast a black guy. I don't care if
he's a good character. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, as long as the show's good, the story's good, I'm gonna like it.
Every game movie that has to put that out there, usually it's trash because they're not focusing on what the fucking content's about. That's my problem. It's like I said, Lord of the Rings, the new one. I am not gonna say Lord of the Rings, whatever the fuck the show is. It's so annoying that they're trying to like destroy like this whole atmosphere and this whole universe of Lord of the Rings. It just upsets me so much. But what's irritating is seeing these interviews and it's like, oh, this is. I wish I showed you this video. This person was going on and on and on about it's everything. It's everything to have black people in the show. It's everything to have me in the show and stuff like that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, no.
It's and then she's like, there wasn't enough good female characters in Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, bro, there is some amazing female characters in that.
The fucking the leader of the elves, whatever her name is, I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, she was a badass female character.
Dude,
she's the leader of the elves.
And you haven't watched the third one, but there's one of the king's daughters sneaks into battle. She dresses up like a man. But this is another thing too. I don't understand. So like, usually men fight and stuff, so they didn't want the women to fight. Okay.
Yeah.
And so she dresses up like a man to fight, and she's a badass. Like she's a badass character. She wants to, show her dad that she can do it. She likes to fight. And
Game of Thrones, the youngest.
Yeah. And I like
badass fucking character.
Great character. And it's like, but now it's like apparently now women just fight now in the universe, and now randomly now there's like black elves, black
that's so
dwarfs.
About that is like they never had black elves even in the canon, but it's like they had black characters.
They're in certain areas on Middle Earth. Of course, there's like other races, but it's like you have to go with the lore. It's okay. This is how I put it. Imagine now all of a sudden Wakanda just had a bunch of white people in it. People would be pissed.
Yeah, and I would be too.
It doesn't make sense. It's in the universe. If you wanted to make a completely different fictional, atmosphere, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit.
If you want to make Lord of the Rings but with black people, it's like either do it with the lore or make your own new Lord of the Rings. You can do that. And you can still make new content, which is another issue Western culture has, is we don't make new things. We just keep rehashing old shit.
Yeah, we just keep recycling shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why don't you just make characters in the areas that they're living in the universe, create those characters and make something interesting out of them? You know what I mean? Like, why do you have to do shit like this? It's so bothersome, man. And it just is so upsetting. And it's like she was saying, oh, she's the first woman dwarf. And I'm like, bruh, there was women dwarfs. And
How did they reproduce? They're humanoid. They need a male and female.
Well,
what?
Yeah, so
unless you're pulling like the Adam and Eve of the dwarves, and then like, okay, well now you're onto something, but calling yourself the first female dwarf.
Well, she's saying on camera, but that's bullshit because they were in The Hobbit. So but again, they weren't even that important because they weren't in the fucking main characters.
And you also have to look at the time. It's like this is set in a universe which is basically in the Middle Ages. And so in the Middle Ages, there weren't like female soldiers weren't a thing.
Dude, even that's what I'm saying too. It's like, but again, if you want to make a fictional thing where that's a thing, yeah, that's fine. Who gives a shit? But
make your own universe. You can do that.
But in Lord of the Rings, they already have a set universe. You don't fuck with the creator's stuff. This is the same thing with Star Wars. Same shit. Like, don't fuck with shit that doesn't need to be fucked up. Just put things in that universe and understand what you're doing. Because obviously they don't know anything about Lord of the Rings or anything like that. But
it's kind of like Metal Gear Survive. Like,
oh, the zombie one, huh?
Yeah, it's like, why did you make Metal Gear Survive? Like, okay, well, I know why they did it. First of all, name, and also to say fuck you to Hideo and the Metal Gear fans. But you know, if that wasn't their motivation to say fuck you, if they legitimately thought that they wanted to make a zombie game, why Metal Gear? Metal Gear is unironically politically driven commentary on the Cold War era and nuclear bombs, World War II, and a bunch of stuff. Most of the lore centers around the middle of the Cold War during like the early 60s and World War II. And you're just like, fuck it, zombie game. Like, and I don't even think there was a Metal Gear, and if there was, it was like not even really a Metal Gear. Why are you calling it Metal Gear? That pisses me off more than you made a Metal Gear game without Hideo. Because you're fucking up the lore. It has nothing to do with the greater story of Metal Gear.
And we see this in movies and games where there's already a franchise there. There's already a series of games, and you go in there and you try to create these new ideas and do all these crazy things. For what? You could do this is the thing. You can do new ideas, but in a way it adapts to the movies, not to adapt your old ways, not your own fucking ways. It's adapting to what the movies are today or games. That's my problem.
You're not supposed to adapt the original thing to your thing. You're supposed to adapt your thing to the original.
Exactly. And that's another thing. It's like that's another problem with modern games, with new new games that come, especially to Battlefield. Don't even get me started with Battlefield. The games have gotten so bad. It's not even the same people that made those games anymore. You can tell.
Yeah, that's another thing with like Western culture is that, because like, yes, we sit here and people claim they love individuality, they want to inspire creativeness, and it's like, but you don't, because clearly we're not, because all we're doing nowadays is we're taking something that already existed and we're doing it again, or we're taking something that existed and adding on to it. And it's like, that's not inspiring creativity, because if
Lazy.
you're inspiring, you're just lazily doing something. If you were inspiring creativity, you would be inspiring young kids and kids, people in college, to go out and come up with their own ideas, and you would help them nurture their ideas and say, okay, well, what if this doesn't really work, but what if you try doing this so that you can still get something like this, but it'll be a little more easily adaptable. But no, all we're doing now is just like, no, you can't have an original thought, you can't be individual, you can't express what you're trying to truly express. You're doing this. This is all you get to work with right here.
It's like, and this is why, like, David Jaffe, he's the creator of God of War. Why? Mm-hmm. This is, I watch a lot of his videos, and I love watching because he used to be in those big AAA title companies, and he's like, straight up was like, yeah, I will fucking never do that again, because they don't give a shit about you. Like there's so many creative people in the company, but they don't give a fuck. They just care about what the man in the suit, even though this man's never ever played a game in his entire life.
Yep.
And it's
He's
like,
never played a video game. He's never had any interest in developing it. He's never made one. He's just some investor.
and he's like the only he pretty much said like if he could make another one of his games, it'd be God of War, like Twisted Metal. Like he would totally do it because that's his baby. So
Yeah, but he wouldn't do anything else, and I can't blame him.
yeah, and he just makes his own thing, which again I don't blame him because that's hell.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having so much creativity on games and have so much like been doing it for a while and then just being like, oh yeah, you can't do that.
Yep.
You're doing this, and some things I guess I do understand depending on what the situation is. But if it's a pure out of creativity on the game development stuff and just like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
like I can get saying no to, like, if God forbid, someone was supposed to, or not supposed to, if someone was trying to make a game glorifying child rape, yeah, I would say fuck no, you can't do that.
or
But like so much of the stuff that they're saying no to is just like someone trying to express an opinion.
or you can even go small, a little smaller than that, but like say like, yeah, guys, we're gonna add a bunch of hair on what's his name from God of War to his head. That'd be weird.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they kind of did that by giving him a beard, but
I'm saying on his head, like just a full on bunch of hair. And then they're like, "Nah, we're not doing that." I'm like, that's something that's fine because it's like that'd be weird. Like it'd be weird. That character had hair. I think
people modded it on PC to give him hair, so
that's funny. Maybe like a little ponytail or something in the back. But like
that's still more excusable to me. Like if they did that, fine, but I, saying no to things that are like clearly bad, like you like having the message be you should go out and kill someone tonight. No, that should not be a game, because people who like, and I don't mean violence in video games should be gone. No, I'm saying your message is you, the player, need to go out and kill someone right now. No, that should not be a game, because that's wrong.
what's the point?
Yeah, but
Because usually a game has like like a reason of doing it, like in the game itself. Maybe not in the outside world, like a message it has, but maybe in the game itself, there's a reason why you're killing this person. Maybe you're killing them because they did something to your family.
Okay, well, you can't necessarily say that because Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto exist. You can just kill people for fun, but
Yeah.
but those are also like, Red Dead is a retrospective on a time. It's a period piece, and Grand Theft Auto is satire, and so it's like you also have to kind of understand like that level of like what is the point of the game. But I don't know, like in general, Western culture just does not inspire people to be creative in any sort of way. And it even goes beyond movies and games, like the music industry. If you look at popular music, it you can just get an AI to generate lyrics and throw a relatively basic beat on it that's relatively catchy, and get someone who knows how to use auto-tune. It's going platinum. That song, that the album that song's on, it's going platinum.
Especially if it's catchy.
Yeah. And I'm a metalhead, clearly. I'm wearing a hat.
Metallica.
No. But a lot of the metal bands, they don't do the AI bullshit. It is, I make the fucking music, and yeah, sometimes a band has a ghostwriter, but the ghostwriter isn't some dude just in a boardroom. It's some dude actually writing something meaningful. And yeah, there's exceptions to everything. There are still some rappers and pop artists who write something legitimate. And there's, metal bands that just do AI generated kind of shit. But by and large, Metal, they don't do that, and they're not as popular because they're not making something that's super duper fucking catchy. But if people sat down and looked at the lyrics on a lot of these bands, even the ones that are like super fucking heavy, like the ones you laugh at, if you were to sit down and read some of the lyrics, you'd be like, wow, that's some real shit.
I'm gonna say something. People don't realize. People don't realize what a voice can do in industries like this. People don't understand. Dude, people bitched so much about having to pay for DLC, having to pay for this shit, and look what happened. A lot of games now, DLC's free.
Yeah.
Um,
Free content updates.
Especially like
It's also become bad.
especially for like multiplayer games. But like, just because like it's not worth $30 for some Call of Duty maps. It's not.
No.
It's not. If you told me I had to pay like $15-20 for a Dark Souls DLC, I'd be like, okay, that's worth it because there's actually shit. There's actually shit to do.
I think with DLC, it's dependent on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like in multiplayer games, yeah, I shouldn't have to pay for new maps. Like that should not be locked behind a paywall. If you want me to keep coming and playing your multiplayer game, you should give me the maps for free. Especially since the servers have those maps, and largely when they add new maps, they're getting rid of old maps. Meaning I have less maps to play because I don't own the DLC.
Agreed.
You should give it to me for free.
Yeah.
But with single player games where they're expanding the story, adding new areas and that shit, I think that's fine to be free, depending on the size. Like if you're just adding some like fucking like side missions or something,
Like a quest.
maybe, yeah, like 1 or 2 quests or something that are relatively huge. No, that should be free. But if you're like Dark Souls, they add entire new areas and new bosses and new weapons, new equipment,
NPCs.
NPCs, and it's like, yeah, no, that I'm fine paying for that because my money is my
It's worth.
Kinda, yeah, one of my friends, Robert, kind of the way he looks at it is when a game comes out, so like Doom, he didn't buy Doom at full price because he knew he wasn't gonna play it enough to make him feel as though he spent his money wisely. So it's kind of like a system of X many dollars for X many hours. So like say a game has a 20-hour long story and that's it, and there's no real multiplayer that you're ever gonna play. He's not gonna spend $60 on it because $60 for 20 hours of my time, whereas I can spend $30 on a game where I'm going to spend 40 hours playing the story, and there's some side content. Yeah, I'm gonna do that instead.
Well, and like I said, when people have a voice, shit gets changed. Even from a movie industry. I mean, look at Sonic, bro.
Yup, I was actually gonna say that.
They literally like bullied the fuck out of the company and making fun of them, how bad it is, to the point they changed it and it was a good change.
Yeah, they changed the look of Sonic.
Not only they made, I forgot what movie that came out not so long ago. Or what was it? I forgot what it was. But they made fun of Sonic and put the old Sonic in there.
Yep.
Chip and Dale, yeah. So, and it's like, great example too, Battlefront 2. That game was a completely 180. It was a pay-to-win game to completely, pretty much rebuilding from the ground up and making it a good game.
Yep. Hell, even the Division 1 did that. The game was fucking broken, had like no content, had a lot of bugs. About a year and a half later, it runs really fine. It has a lot of fun shit. I got it when the game was about 4 months old, and it was pretty buggy. I came back to it like 2-3 years later and actually enjoyed the game. But my thing is like, why? Why do we have to get to the point we have to complain? Rely on updates.
What happened just like getting feedback from people that, play your games beforehand, or, alpha betas, it's like,
So they do still do game testing, but it's controlled, and so
yeah,
they basically, instead of just like getting random people off the street like they used to do back in like when we were like fucking kids, what they do is you apply to be a game tester, and they pick and choose people who are going to write good reviews, or they think will write good reviews, and then they use those reviews and they say, "Yeah, I was tested with this group right here," and what it actually is just a control group that of people they handpicked, instead of back when it was like 2000 fucking 6, fucking Gears of War 1. It's like, okay, we picked up a bunch of random people off the street, play this game and see what happens.
it's like, why do we have to, this shit shouldn't, if you're getting this much people, there's obviously people that game test, people that actually test the game should seize this, but obviously they are not doing their job on hiring the correct people. Even as from a developer standpoint, you've been in this business for so long, bro, and how many people work? Thousands and thousands of people, dude. You should see what the people want and what you should never ever add in a game.
Yeah.
Especially games that already exist that they're making a new game of.
Yeah. Like, if they were to bring back Sly Cooper, I know it's a game you fucking loved.
Yeah.
That's something where they should get people who like Sly Cooper and will tell you honestly if it's good or bad. They should get the like Angry Joe level people who are going to critique you fairly.
You'd see a lot of good games in the market.
Yeah, because Angry Joe, perfect example. He's people will try and claim sometimes he's biased because back when The Witcher 3 was coming out, he got to go to Poland and meet CD Projekt Red and play a demo version of the game. And people were like, "Oh, he's biased." What happened when Cyberpunk came out?
He literally grilled that game to the ground. Like which is, it was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with him on everything he says sometimes, but I respect the hell out of him and enjoy watching his content because he's very fair. And he's very critical. And yes, I do sometimes think people can be overcritical, especially people like him. But a lot of the things he's overcritical about are fair points. And it's like, these are the kind of people who you should be getting to review and play test your games, because we would have a much better game, movie, TV show market. Good things would be coming out, whereas nowadays when it comes to TV shows, I'm hardly ever watching new shit. Most of the time I'm either watching anime or I'm watching old shit.
And because there's so many big YouTubers now that do reviews on games and movies, you think damn well some of these motherfuckers are watching them. So
they are.
So it's like,
I know for a fact. I think it was, you remember that game Outriders? It was like it looked kind of like The Division.
it was shit.
Yeah, the developers straight up watched Angry Joe's video.
Bro.
Yeah.
I watched that one too. That's funny. Oh man, it was worse than Cyberpunk, man.
And the thing is, if I'm not mistaken, the developers of that game, he used to be pretty close with. He used to like go and talk to those guys at like conventions and everything, and he was like, essentially they were bros. And he still was like, "No, this game's shit, guys. What the fuck?"
Yeah, it ran like shit too. I remember.
Yeah, I'm sure the game plays a little bit better, but
why do we have to get to this point every time? Why does the game? And you notice when they're trying to make money too fast, because they start pushing out projects too fast, and the game doesn't even run properly half the time nowadays.
Like, Elden Ring had some bugs. It did. It's a huge fucking game. I'm not surprised. But the game ran just fine. I just had a few fucking glitches with the audio, and I clipped through the environment once. And it was because I was in like a fuck off space that trying to fucking, mollywop my way into fucking victory, and I kind of screwed myself. And but other than that, the game ran fine because the game had proper time to be pushed out. They didn't just say dump, go, dump, go. It was, okay, here's what we've got. Let's fix it. Let's make sure. All right, let's test it. No, this is broken. We need to fix this. And, you know, the game runs just fine. And the funny thing, Dark Souls 3, I believe that game in its lifetime, coming out in 2016, has been updated 13 times. And that includes
No reason for that to ever happen.
Yeah.
Updates are fine. Updates are fine.
Yeah.
But not.
And Dark Souls 3, I know one of the updates. Okay, two of the updates were to add the DLC. One of them was to fix bleed builds, because just like Elden Ring, they had issues with bleed builds being way overpowered. They had to fix it because you could do some fucking crazy shit with bleed in Elden Ring, and you could do it in Dark Souls 3. And those were a couple of fixes. Most of their other fixes were like, no, people keep on regularly clipping through this area, and I got to fix that. But the game wasn't broken, and it's because they're not pushing out content and just trying to make money.
I mean, dude, look at the best content is the Souls games, dude. I mean, dude, not only do they put out a good solid fucking game, they put out good DLCs.
Yep. And the games are solid and are largely replayable.
And it's
Elden Ring, I don't know. The rest of them.
It's actually crazy to me that with Dark Souls 2 being a rushed game, it's still better than the majority of games that come out.
Yeah, like it's like Josh said the other day. Dark Souls 2 is by far the worst Souls game, but it is by no means a bad game.
And that says a lot, issues. By the way.
Yeah, I mean, there are issues, but a lot of the issues would be fixed with hitboxes being fixed. If you fixed hitboxes, the game, I would have far less issues, because there are a couple times in that game where you look like you've completely cleared past a boss and you're still getting hit by the attack, and it's like, what? But, if they fixed that, the game's issue would just be they tried to pack too many bosses into the game and it suffered. But it's still better than Battlefield 2042, Call of Duty Vanguard, Black Ops Cold War, Halo Infinite, Mass Effect Andromeda. I could go
on. Gears of War, Halo.
I did Halo. Gears 5 ran just fine. It was just a story, just kind of dropped off. It's not made by Epic Games anymore. It's made by a group called the Coalition.
Bro, just from fucking Vanguard, we couldn't even all play together.
Yeah. We couldn't. You were the only one who could lead the party. I couldn't lead the party. Amber couldn't. Joe couldn't. Abby couldn't. Her friend, Abby's friend, couldn't.
Dude,
you were the only one who could run the party. You know how they had the different play styles, like tactical, blitz, and whatever the other one was?
Yeah.
That didn't matter at all.
$1 billion company, and they can't even get this right. And the thing is, too, they don't even fix it, dude, until like months later.
Yeah, and it's like you look at the patch notes, and it's like the shit you're fixing isn't the things that need to be fixed first.
Yeah, they're like, guys, don't worry, we fixed the little patch that was on a skin that people were bitching about. What?
Yeah, this skin had a tendency to just not appear on screen, so we fixed that. And it's like, we can't party up properly. This needs to be fixed. But oh, thank you for fixing this skin nobody liked.
You know, one day, some games, some companies are waking up. I think. There's always gonna be bullshit in any industry. But
and, I mean, games were broken back when we were kids. Sometimes when we were little kids, games couldn't be updated.
To be fair, yeah, but you know what? You know it's crazy though, dude. I remember, like, would get just all these games in the 2000s, dude. Especially like Xbox 360, PS3 era, bro. The amount of good games that came out of those systems is unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like non-existent.
Halo 3 through 4 on the Xbox 360. Gears 1, 2, 3, and Judgment. So many other games. Some of the best Call of Duties. Battlefield 3.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, dude, there's so many good games that came out of that. I mean, that's when Gears of War. I mean, dude, you had some awesome games, and on top of like PlayStation exclusives too that I know of. So it's like, and there's 3 or 4 of them, but for the most part, they're pretty good. So why is it all of a sudden a fucking issue? But we all know it's money. They want to make a shit ton of money.
Money and not allowing creativity. Not allowing people to make real art.
It's crazy. Have you noticed you don't even see loot boxes anymore? Very, very rarely you see loot boxes. They don't even exist. People bitched about it.
Yeah, people bitched about loot boxes. Instead of doing that, they just made everything Here's everything that would have been in the loot box.
Well, it's really weird. It's really weird though. They're like, get rid of loot boxes, but we have battle passes still. It's like, dude, we need to get.
Well, because you know what you're getting with a battle pass.
And
the issue with loot boxes was it was incentivizing gambling with minors, and they do still have it in Madden and all the sports games, but they can make the excuse of, well, when our fucking parents were kids, you could go and buy a pack of baseball cards. You never knew what you were going to get. So because it's essentially the same thing, just virtually, it's basically essentially an NFT. They can make that excuse, but everything else, that's gambling.
Yeah.
And people, I remember first it was, okay, no, this is bullshit. Then the courts came out in Europe and said, okay, you can still have loot boxes, but you have to tell people what their chances of getting these items are. And that was too much work, and they didn't like that. So instead, we're going to do battle passes so you know what you're going to get, and then everything else that we would have put in loot boxes, you can buy, but it's going to be expensive.
Why? It's essentially what's going to happen is people are going to complain about battle pass because we've talked about this earlier in the podcast. It's like there's major issues with having the battle pass. It's just pure fucking laziness. For someone that wants to play the game, they should be able to unlock this stuff by playing the game.
Yep.
Not by I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you already put in $60. Why do I need to give you more money?
Yep, and more now because now they're moving towards with tax $75.
Yeah, it was a $10 boost on the consoles.
Yep, consoles. And here in Texas, $69.99 plus tax is $75.75.
I know it's gonna happen. In the future, they're gonna be like, it's gonna be $90, and it's gonna go 100, and then people are gonna boycott the gaming industry to making it where it has to be lower, some shit like that.
Yeah, but one saving grace, Sean, he's more into economics than you are probably. I mean, he knows this thing like it's a science.
He knows more than me.
Oh God, but I mean, he knows it on like a world level. He was sitting there one day when we were at Brandon's and we were talking, and he was like, honestly, the next couple years for the gaming industry are going to be interesting because at this point you can't question we are in a recession in America. And with a recession comes people are not going to be spending money on the extra bullshit. So in the case of video games, they're not going to be spending money on skins, battle passes nearly as much, and they're going to start losing money on doing these things. So in the next couple years, one of two things is going to happen. Either A, they're going to double down really hard, which is the least likely of the options. Or two, you're going to see a resurgence in the, I call it old school, but essentially what we grew up with, where people are not going to be spending money on DLC, they're not going to be spending money on skins, so you're going to have to release the game in working order, and you're going to have to make it so that people can get these things for free, and you're going to have to make it so that people can earn them. So essentially, kind of what Dark Souls does. You can't buy anything other than the DLC. If you want that super big fuck off sword like I had in Dark Souls 3 when we were playing, go kill that NPC who's gonna wreck your shit over and over again until you figure out how to deal with him.
I mean, yeah, the moment From Software starts pulling the shit they do with a lot of games, the game will be that whole all the Souls games will be fucked. That whole company will be fucked. That'll be the moment you don't buy anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's funny. Japan is kind of, if you look at Japan since probably the 70s or 80s, they're kind of behind. They're kind of doing what we did like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So eventually we're going to hit the point where Japan is having what America's doing now in their game industry and TVs, movies, and stuff.
Well, maybe not.
Possibly.
Possibly. In a way, maybe not, because they can see that it's been a fucking shit show.
Yeah, they started heading that way, and so tendency can show, or not tendency. I can't think of the word. History shows that yes, potentially this is where it could lead, but as a more optimistic point of view, the Japanese are also a fair bit smarter most of the time. They'll probably sit there and see, wow, that was a big fuck up. We shouldn't do that. We should keep doing what we're doing. Because Japanese companies, they're making a lot more money on new games, and even like our Eastern European companies, they're making more money on new games than a lot of the American companies and Western European companies. Like, well, it's not a great example, but Stalker, that game is it's an old series. In fact, Josh, one of his tattoos on his arm is from Stalker. It's made by an Eastern European company. They were going to make a lot of money on pre-orders because everything they were promising was pretty good, and the history of that company, they don't do a lot of the shit that we do. Unfortunately, the game ended up getting put on hold for a while because they're from Ukraine.
Yeah. Wait, is that the game that Brandon wanted? Or was it
Sean?
Or Sean?
yeah, the game is now back on track. I think because they ended up moving to another country, I think to France or something. But that company was making a lot of money on pre-orders, and the game wasn't even supposed to be out until April this year, and they were making money back in 2019, way more than projected.
Wow.
Like they were going to make their money back already on pre-orders. They ended up giving a lot of the money back because they were like, we don't know when this game is coming out. But a lot of people still, well, they didn't just give it back. They said you can get it back if you'd like. We're still going to make the game, but we don't know when it'll come out, so we can give you your money back.
That's cool. That's rare.
Yeah. They ended up keeping quite a bit of their money because a lot of people still had faith because the track record of the company is pretty great.
I mean,
and if an American company was to do that, dude, no, like everyone would be like, no, give me my money back now, because no one has faith.
no one does. I mean, it's like an Ubisoft. I have no faith.
No,
I mean,
they made Far Cry 3, and then every game they've released Far Cry 3.
Yeah. Granted, I do like the Far Cry series, but if anyone complained because of the same game, I would be like, yeah, fair point. I agree.
It is largely the same game, but I mean, to be fair, you're playing Far Cry, it's going to be Far Cry. But, it happened, it started with leaking into Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed is a whole new level, though, for you.
The fact, what they did to Assassin's Creed pisses me off. I mean, yes, Assassin's Creed 2 had the utterly annoying bullshit, go collect 100 feathers across the maps of the game. But that was the one thing it had. And now it has like, oh, there's this collectible chain, this one, this one.
You know my problem with it? They were releasing them like it was Call of Duty, bro. Like you're coming out, you are putting out a story game. We don't need a game every other year. Just give us.
Well, see, their argument is it was made by different teams. Because the team that made Assassin's Creed 2 is not the same team that made Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, even though Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is a continuation of Assassin's Creed 2. It was made by different teams.
And they're all the fucking same game, essentially. I'm sure like the older games are a little different than the new ones, of course, but like you get what I'm saying. Especially the new ones, they're probably the fucking same shit.
Assassin's Creed 2 through Syndicate, like they changed a little bit, but not much. But Assassin's Creed 2 through Syndicate was released year. And Origins to Odyssey was a year. Odyssey to Valhalla was 2 years. They're the same game. And I mean, like, all they did was change the locale. They really didn't improve gameplay. The character arcs are basically the same. They're basically telling the same story. And even worse, I don't know for sure about Valhalla, but Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey have nothing to do with the Assassins because they didn't exist.
Ubisoft, Activision, EA, they're all a fucking dumpster fire.
Yep.
They really are. And it's really sad because, Call of Duty's Activision's weird. They're a weird company because, they get like really bad. They start to have like developers make, bad games, and then all of a sudden you get like Modern Warfare. And then
Activision is
it's a weird.
Activision is the least atrocious because they still occasionally pull something out of their ass.
They do. And the marketing team is really good at doing it. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Whereas EA is like, I have no faith in anything they put out. I'm even a little dubious about the new Jedi game because Respawn is owned by EA. But Ubisoft, I think, is at least salvageable if you get some people in there who stop.
Well, look at the Tom Clancy games. Jesus, it's all the same.
Yeah. Like, I think if they get some new people in who kind of like differentiate the series, like yeah, the Tom Clancy games, they make the argument, well, they haven't made a new Rainbow Six in a long. Well, no, they have. They made Rainbow Six Extraction or
Shit.
Extinction, that stupid fucking like zombie like game. But
They you know what they're due for? Fucking Rainbow Six Siege 2 or whatever you want to call it, because it was a good game. It was, and I heard it's bad now with a lot of the operators. But it's like you guys have never. This is probably the best multiplayer game you guys ever made. So
it is.
so it's like, why don't you do it again, but improve it?
They won't is the issue, and I do kind of think maybe don't do another Rainbow Six Siege, because I love Rainbow Six Siege. I've said this 1,000 times. It's one of the games I've put the one of the multiplayer games I've put the most time into. I played the fuck out of that my senior year of high school. But the Ubisoft in general, their issue is they need to stop making all of their games Far Cry.
Yeah.
And the Tom Clancy games need to. Ghost Recon needs to go back to being what Ghost Recon was. Pseudo. Call it futuristic, but it's not really. Whatever. Ghost Recon should be back to Ghost Recon. Rainbow Six should be Rainbow Six. Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. They all have their own thing. Let them have their own identity. Instead, it's all just become this amorphous blob of every game is kind of the same. Except Rainbow Six Siege is kind of like over here. It's the only one that stayed away.
Agreed. And
it's sad that Rainbow Six Siege is probably the best one still, and it's not a good game anymore.
It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, even like the Ghost Recon games, they still had like a shitload of collectibles too for some reason. It's like, why am I don't want to collect collectibles throughout a map in a shooter.
This is a thing from a Souls game. Even if you don't like these games, it's like you should really appreciate just what they do in those games. You could tell they actually let the people develop the games and actually create their art that they make, because it is so fucking unique and different in all these different NPCs they make and all just the environment of the games they make. Yeah, especially Bloodborne.
Bloodborne was revolutionary in a sense. It kind of brought back that like gothic horror, which is underrated as fuck. But Demon Souls was revolutionary because Demon Souls spawned an entire subgenre of RPGs, the Souls-like. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason. It's because it was so unique. It was the first time in a long time we got an original feeling RPG.
And that is why people call it a Souls game.
Yeah. There's a reason why now there's the Souls-like term. And the funny thing is, the Souls-like term doesn't even apply to RPGs anymore. There are games that are roguelikes. Those games like Binding of Isaac, where every time you die, the game completely changes. There's never like a set path to victory. There's games like that are being called Souls-like, and it's now become a like Souls-like doesn't necessarily mean an RPG that's difficult and vast lore and everything. It now applies to third-person shooters. There legitimately was a third-person shooter Souls-like. 2 of them actually, and roguelikes and shit like that.
And again, you can see that they actually put in the work and actually let them do what they want to do. Imagine they did that with so many other games. Holy shit, bro. We would see some crazy games.
We would have the early and mid 2000s again. Because the early and mid 2000s, early 2000s, we got Halo. 2001 we got Halo.
Right off the bat, baby.
Yep.
And then, we got the Resident Evil series. around those times. Pretty sure the first Resident Evil came out like 97 or something.
96 or 97. 96.
So it's like, what happened, man? It can still come back, and I believe it can. But I think there's always gonna be problems in any industry, of course. But I definitely think they can fix a lot of this shit because
I think the one you can fix the easiest is the gaming industry.
oh yeah, movies.
I have no hope for movies anymore or TV shows, but maybe it's just because I love video games.
And we'll definitely get into movies in a different podcast because I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah. But like the gaming industry, the thing that could fix it is stop letting corporate suit dude and the board of directors run how the game is made and limiting the directors. Because if you could fix that, so many more the gaming industry would
It would take a 180, bro. It would take a 180.
Oh, it would, and we would have a resurgence of more things like Demon Souls that are revolutionizing genres.
You would bring more people to jobs because more and more people can actually do their job, and people that like David Jaffe can come back and make good games.
Yeah, and you'd probably get more people who are willing to come out and make video games because they'd feel like more creative people would be coming out to do this because more creative people would be incentivized to actually make the art that they want to make. Essentially, they would be able to make their dreams come true. If someone's dreaming of making something, a video game, they'd be more incentivized to do it because they'd actually have a platform to properly do it.
Well, I mean, imagine, dude. Like, say if I was someone that does game design and stuff, or like do a lot of art, and I wanted to get into that business, and how I know how bad it is, I wouldn't want to do it. So there's probably a lot of people that would love to do it, but they know how bad it is.
Yeah, that's why you have so many indie games and indie developers now, because that people are like, I want to make a video game, but I don't want to deal with the big AAA side of it. Yeah, I would rather just make a game that isn't visually stunning but is still really good than have all the perks of having a AAA game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know where to begin because there's so many things that's wrong with the gaming industry, but it's about taking a step forward and listening to people. Again, there's always going to be problems, but there's definitely major things that can be fixed. Because once one company does it, everyone will follow. It's just how it goes. It's the same thing with when free DLC and multiplayer happened. Everyone else started doing it.
Yep.
So
and we can honestly,
it's a domino. Yeah, it's a domino effect, dude.
Yep. And I'm not going to say it on the podcast. The answer Sean has given, which would completely fix it, or maybe not completely, but largely fix it. But what he said is correct. I will just leave it there. If you let if you let this happen, then you would see video games turn around, modern games. But Bailey, I have a question for you. You said you want to learn how to make your own game. What kind of game, if you were to make one, would it be?
Well, I thought I told you this. Well, I obviously need to learn. That's why I said it'd take me a couple of years to understand. Like, I'm literally just gonna watch videos and stuff to understand this shit. And I'm not gonna go into like coding and stuff. I don't have time to do that shit. I would not. That'd just be such a long time. I'd rather just have it because you can have it pre-made already. You can just design your world. That's pretty much what I would do. I've said this before. Like, I would like to make it almost like a different version of Call of Duty, and like just rehash some things and just make it fun. make it what it used to be, what COD used to be, and not like
So make like an actual Call of Duty killer, but it's Call of Duty, but made by someone who actually loves it.
yeah, pretty much someone that who's played the shit out of the games and just throwing some awesome things in the game that would remind you of your childhood or of time playing the game.
Yeah.
But I would love to make other games. Just yeah.
I'm saying like if it was right now, you had now you have the knowledge and the know-how, the means to do it. What would you make right now?
More, dude, lately I've been like thinking about like, dude, I would love to design a Souls game.
You know, that's actually probably something I would like.
Like, because think about it, dude. Having your knowledge with our friend Andrew. Imagine if you guys both had like these ideas. I pretty much build it, and he's the one that designs these cool characters because he's pretty good at art. So I couldn't like. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Like if you were to get you, me, and Andrew to make a Souls game, the way it would be pretty easy. I can design the combat and the weapons. He can design characters and bosses, and you can like design the world. Like
yeah. Look at that, and then we're gonna need some motherfucker to do the dialogue and shit.
Yeah,
I'm not. That ain't me, Chief.
Writer.
Yeah,
I'm not a writer.
You all make fun of me, so I can't do that shit.
Yeah, no, but like, yeah, if I could just right now, I had the knowledge and know-how, I would make a Souls like,
and I
would probably do that.
Even for me, I've always I never told you this, but when I was like in 6th grade, I've always wanted to like. I used to make like homemade comics and stuff of stories. Me and my cousin used to make like homemade movies and stuff. And it was more about just storytelling a movie and stuff. So like I would even go, that's why like if I was ever in a gaming industry, I'd be like the one trying to tell a story.
Yeah. I definitely like a good story, but it's not something I'm super good at. For me, like the part of the reason why I like the Souls games is that yes, the story is very much there. It very much exists, but you have to look for it, and it's not shoved in your face. And I have nothing wrong with the story being shoved in my face. I like story games. I play story games almost always. But for me, the reason I like the Souls games is it's more about the world and the combat. Let the world tell you the story, and let the combat and the like bosses and enemies you're looking at tell you the story. And that's something I like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even like a level design aspect, I would do some really, really cool shit. And that's a lot of work. I mean, you can't just have one area. You'd have to make like how many you choose, but that'd be cool. I think that would be cool to make like a Souls type game. It would not be easy. It'd be a game that'd take a lot longer than with having 3 people.
Yeah, but like
the idea.
The beauty of the Souls games and the reason like the levels are, I think Demon Souls does it best. The levels are the real challenge. And finding your way around, finding the secrets, and once like overcoming the challenge of the level so that the boss the boss should be challenging.
Imagine if it was both though. Imagine.
I think it should be, and I think Bloodborne is the one that does, and Sekiro are the ones that do that the best. At the boss and the level should both be challenging,
especially the DLC of Bloodborne.
Yeah, but the issue with like Dark Souls 1, or maybe not as much 1, but definitely 2 and 3, is that the levels were not as challenging as the bosses, And I don't have anything wrong, or I don't see anything wrong with having challenging bosses. In fact, some of the best bosses in the series are challenging. But like Dark Souls 2 DLC, for example, like you watched that video yesterday, Reindeer Fuckland. That's horrible level design.
Quite literally, reindeer fuckland.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that started lacking quite a bit for a long time with the Souls games. Was level design just became kind of
Plain.
boring. Yeah, plain, boring, and not that interesting. And it made it so that, like, you know, that.
To be fair, though, the graphics really made a difference on that too. Back in the
Yeah.
day, I mean, they didn't have what we have now, where now they have way more control of what the graphics look like.
Yeah,
and they have more space on the size of the game too.
Yeah, but I mean, even Demon Souls, I mean, you haven't even seen all the levels. So many of the levels are like, they're so well designed.
That game is very well designed.
Yeah, and like like when you sit there and you look at it, you're like, oh my fucking god, this level is huge, and you feel like you've been going forever, and then out of nowhere you get this shortcut, and you're like, oh wow, this just made it so much faster, and then you get another shortcut, and you're like, running from start to the boss, if you die to the boss, is like not hard at all, with the exception of a couple, and it started lacking. And I think that's something that the Souls games need is better level design, because even like Elden Ring, like, yeah, the open world was really cool, but some of the issue with an open world in that kind of game is that the level design is not there. It's a map. The levels, the closest they had to level design in Elden Ring was like the catacombs or like the insides of specific locations.
Imagine. You want to see? You want to sound something crazy? You know, imagine the Bloodborne level designs with like the Dark Souls 3 level designs on top of like Sekiro level designs in different areas of Elden Ring. Of that, I'm not saying exactly that, but in that kind of way, in all across Elden Ring map, it would have changed that game completely. Granted, that is a lot of fucking work, but that would have been cool to see different atmospheres of the game. I'm not saying you walk into Bloodborne to go to a Souls game. I'm just saying like the look of the area.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. The level design is just a very interesting thing, because like, you know, when we after that video of the bad areas, we watched that video of the good ones, and you notice how a lot of those areas I was still like, fuck that area. And it's because of after a certain point, the areas just kind of became like so tedious, or like taking the stink out of shit. Basically, it was still bad, but it was less bad than the others, is what it eventually became. And I think Dark Souls 3 kind of had that the worst, because like I look at Dark Souls 3 and it's like, other than the first area, I don't like going through a lot of those areas. I like the bosses and I like the combat. And if they fixed the areas, I probably would have played Dark Souls 3 way, and like actually enjoyed exploring, and not just had you look at videos on how to get these items, because it just, the levels eventually just become
The boss.
yeah, and then the boss is just like,
Piece
oh,
of
thank God, something interesting, something fun, other than, oh fuck, this thing's gonna fuck me, I'm just gonna run.
I'm literally just trying to walk here, pal.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
an episode, or not an episode, an area I just fucking did in Dark Souls 1 today, and I still technically haven't even done it properly, is the catacombs. My God, yes, if they were to scale down the enemies, it would be fine as an area because it's long, it's sprawling, it has secrets. You have to unlock it slowly but surely. But the other issue they had is okay, we'll give you that kind of level design, but then we'll give you fuck off enemies. And skeletons in Dark Souls are annoying.
Skeletons, dogs, fuck them all.
Skeletons, dogs, rats.
Birds.
Those are the worst. And yeah, birds. But dogs, rats, and skeletons are the worst.
Especially the rats, because it's not just one rat. You got a fucking family of them trying to kill you.
Yeah, and they also poison you. But, so imagine like Demon Souls level design, but with like 10 gajillion fucking skeletons, and then add on top of it pyromancers that are throwing fire at you constantly. And that just eventually became their level design. And I think if I were to go and make a game, I would try and do something more like Demon Souls in level design, but more like Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3 in boss design, where yes, you do have to overcome the level, and the level should be a little bit difficult, but not too difficult. But the boss should also still be challenging. You should still have to overcome that. Because Demon Souls, with the exception of 3 bosses, I did not die to bosses. Oh no, I died in 1 boss fight, and I'll just explain it to you. The boss does not fight you. In fact, it's her protector. If you kill her protector and you go talk to her, she kills herself.
What?
Yes. That is the last level of the 5th Archstone. I died to her protector once. That was it. I did not die to the boss. But Flame Lurker, the flaming dude that nearly killed you, the Man-Eaters, which I think is your next... No, not your next boss, the one after him. And what should have been the final boss are the only ones who killed me. Everything else, the levels killed me over and over again, but the bosses, no.
And if you guys don't know this, how this game works is, okay, so in Souls games, when you get into a new area, there's, you get a bonfire or some sort, a lantern or something where you can stop and you can go back to like the shrine or something where you can
it's your checkpoint, but it's also kind of your safe haven.
And you can go back to level up to the area that you do your level ups and buy shit. And then when you're done, you can go back exactly to that area. But in this fucking game, there's like 2 in an area. So you got 1 in the starting point, and then usually 2 when you get to a boss. And you can only get to this. You can only get that once the boss is defeated. And if not, you have to go through that whole area again.
Yep, and
they short.
Bloodborne did it too. But they offer shortcuts.
Which is cool. And that's the thing about these games. It's rewarding when you explore.
It rewards you to explore and not just run straight to the boss.
Especially Bloodborne.
Yeah, and Demon Souls.
Well, and then Dark Souls 3, or maybe in all the Dark Souls, I've only played the 3rd one. They are very forgiving on this shit. There's always
some levels will be huge and have multiple bonfires.
There's you'll get like 5 or 6 a little bit. There's some that are literally just on the other side of the room. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, in Dark Souls 3 that actually happened. You kill the Dragon Slayer armor as the penultimate boss of the castle, and right after you kill him, you walk 100 feet down a narrow, not even a narrow bridge, down a bridge, and there's another bonfire 100 feet away, maybe 200.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool game. And see, that's the thing with the Call of Duty, dude. I could make such a good game for like if you made a knockoff Call of Duty game. I would implement so many things over the years I've played in Call of Duty and just put it in one and make the best fucking game ever. And like Souls, I would just do shit. I'd do it in the same way. If I wanted to make kind of a Souls game, I would like you said, put like the levels of Demon Souls, and then put like Bloodborne, or Dark Souls, bosses, and then maybe even add something else to it that's a little unique and stuff.
Yeah, it's. I think that's the best way to do it with those, like with the Souls game.
You can even go as far as even an open world game and make it more unique.
Yeah, I mean, you asked me about this, so I'll just talk about it now because you asked me at one point what my actual thoughts are on Elden Ring, and like I also remember you asked if I would want an Elden Ring too. No. I like Elden Ring. It's a good game, and but there's a lot of issues for me with it because the Souls games in general, they incentivize you to kill the optional bosses because if you just run straight through the story, with the exception of Demon Souls, because Demon Souls is completely different, but the rest of them, including Bloodborne, you go on you through the story, and eventually you'll get to a point where the area you're in, or maybe it's just the boss, is kicking your shit in, and it's way too hard, and you're clearly underleveled. You can look and be like, "Oh, there's an optional boss. I can go kill the optional boss, go through the optional area, level up, and come back later, and maybe now you'll kill them, or maybe it'll take you a try or two, but you'll kill them." Or, okay, I killed this optional boss. Oh, I'm still under leveled. Turns out there's another optional boss. Kill them, come back.
Bada bang, bada boom.
Yeah. And, that Elden Ring has the same thing. But the issue is when you look at the level scaling from getting out of the tomb at the start of the game to fighting the Elden Beast and Radigan, you need to be about a level 150. I have not played a Souls game where I had to be even a level 100 to beat every boss in the game. In fact, Demon Souls, you only need to be about level 65. I was 75 because I was like, the final boss fucks, and my build's complete. I'm just going to use all the boss souls, get extra levels, make it a little easier. The one that I had to be the highest level was Dark Souls 2. I was level 90 to finish the main game. And even then, that was just me going, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Elden Ring, I was like, no, I have to. And I ended up having to kill all 160 something bosses in one playthrough. The game took me 100 hours to beat.
Which is, dude, that's like 6 playthroughs of like a Souls game. Because after I mean,
a general first playthrough, the average first playthrough of just the main game for most people is 25 to 30 hours.
But what I'm saying, the reason I say that is because once you beat the game and you love it and you're getting good at it, you can play that fucking game. You can beat it pretty good, pretty fast because you know what to expect.
Yep.
And you know what you're doing. And then the more you keep playing, the faster it's going to get.
Yeah.
So.
And, the games also have multiple endings. And there's a part of me that's like, I want to get all the endings on Elden Ring. Then there's the other part of me who's like, that means I have to kill all 160 something bosses spread throughout all of the Forgotten Lands, or whatever the fuck they were called, again. And I can either do that on New Game Plus, which I don't want to do because if they do announce DLC, I don't want to have to run through the entire game again just to get to the DLC. I would rather just go to the character who's beaten the game, go right into the DLC. So that means I have to start a new character and get all the way to level 150 again, kill all the bosses to get a new ending. Then do it again. Then do it again. Then do it again. That's a lot of work. especially at 100 hours a playthrough. Now, yes, that is, some people have beaten it with, the bare minimum of 2 of the bosses to get into the capital, and then all the required bosses, and beat the game at level 60. But if you look at their playthroughs, A, those guys are fucking gods, and B, they're struggling. They're taking hits and nearly dying in one hit from a boss. That is the prime of you are underleveled.
And that's what these Souls games do too. People don't talk about. It makes you play the game more, like explore more, kill more things instead of let's do the main missions. That's it.
Yeah, it's not like Skyrim or Fallout where you can just blast through the main story in 15, 20 hours.
And there what's the word?
Repercussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might come to the end of the game and it's like, oh, Fallout New Vegas, you can tell Legate Lanús, bro, just go back to Arizona. You can do that, yeah. But, you can also get the same ending by fighting it. And Dark Souls, you don't have an option to talk your way out. No, you have to fight them. And you
gotta fight a motherfucker.
Yeah, you need the health. You need the items to upgrade your weapons. You need the healing items. You need to upgrade your healing items.
I mean, Demon Souls, like, look at me, dude. I had no heals. I barely had souls because I use it for leveling up and shit. So I was like, fuck, I'm about to go grind a different level to go get some heals.
Yep.
It's kind of annoying, and I think it's so dumb that the one thing I do think it's beyond dumb is that if you're human, then you can get raided, and well, not really that. It's more that the level gets harder if you die.
Yeah.
So
and
so you pretty much have to go to the shrine, or not the shrine.
The Nexus.
The Nexus. Okay, so guys, the Nexus again. So the Nexus in that game is like the shrine in Borderlands, Dark Souls, Jesus, where you can level up your stuff, you can buy weapons, spells, whatever you're doing, and you can sell things, buy items, and yeah. So shit, I lost my train of thought.
I can continue it. So that in the Nexus, or in Demon Souls in general, there's world tendency. And you start when you go to an area in neutral, and you can go to pure white or you can go to pure black. You go to pure black, the game becomes harder. The enemies are more aggressive, they have more health, they deal more damage. If you go to pure white, the enemies are less aggressive, deal less damage, and it's just generally easier. The game does have benefits and everything to going to pure black or going to pure white world tendency. But the thing is, when you kill a boss, you get your human form back, your body, instead of being in soul form. And if you're in human form, you can be invaded by another player. And when you get invaded, unless you're built for PvP or you're just really good at the PvP in the game, you're going to die. And dying while in human form in one of the archstones, which are the worlds, will decrease your world tendency towards black. And if you want to avoid that, you have to go to the Nexus, which is unaffected by world tendency, to throw yourself off a high place and kill yourself. But the issue is, in human form, you get your full health bar. In soul form, you get half your health bar. Unless you find a ring in the first level, which lets you have 75% of your health bar instead of only half.
It's very shitty.
Yeah. And so the most of the game, for me, I know, and I know for him too, you kill a boss, you level up, and you go throw yourself off a cliff. And you're limited to only 3/4 of your health the entire game. Unless you want to get invaded or risk dying.
I could not imagine, I want to play this game, it's free on PlayStation Plus, and then witnessing that shit.
Oh, I know. And like I was
Not knowing about like if you don't kill yourself, then this happens.
Yeah, I was lucky in the fact of I knew about World Tendency when I played Demon Souls on the PS3. I did not know, however, until I started watching that guide, that the Nexus is unaffected, and so you can just kill yourself there. And if I had known that, I would have been doing that the whole time, because I died in human form enough times that on the Stonefang Tunnel, which is where you fought Flame Lurker, my world was almost at pure black when I finished. And so Flame Lurker was harder for me. And I didn't know how to build magic at the time, and I didn't know a lot of the stuff in the game.
Did you even get past that, bro?
Yes, I did. It took me forever, and I quit the game twice fighting it. Had to come back like a week later when I was cooled down enough to actually like legitimately try.
My boy. My poor bastard.
Yeah. So Demon Souls is a great game, but it has its issues too. I think all the games do, but I think Demon Souls' biggest issue is that the bosses are just relatively easy compared to how they should be.
Well, and the thing is, well, to be fair, for it being the first Souls game, they haven't really dug into like the bosses as much as they do now.
The lore in that game is also like the easiest to understand, because like it was their first attempt, and it was a great first attempt. I think Demon Souls is a fantastic game, but it's I'm more likely to do New Game Plus on that than Elden Ring. Let's just leave it there. Because 20 hours to beat, less than 20 hours to beat Demon Souls versus, what am I at? Yeah, let me look. Let me look at what I'm at on Elden.
New Game, see, and your boy over here, you know, I don't. Yeah, it's weird for me when I play a story game. I'm like, I usually delete the game. Whatever.
I lied. I have 120 hours to, or no,
Jesus.
125
Jesus.
to beat Elden Ring the first time, because I did start a second character trying to do a bleed build, and then they fixed bleed, and so yeah.
That's a lot, man. But that's the thing too? It's like, again, like for me, it's like when I beat a story game or whatever, I'm just like, I'll delete the game and maybe I'll come back to it later. For the most part, I just delete it because I'm not gonna really play it, especially right away. But like, dude, now I'm like, I want to play New Game Plus Bloodborne. It's been like a year now, and I'm like, I want to, and then I want to try to get platinum. Therefore, I had to do New Game +3 or +2. So that'd be fun. But I definitely want to get all like dungeon. I want to get all the dungeon bosses done now, because if I do it at 2, I am going to be struggling, and I'm already going to struggle.
Don't do every chalice dungeon. You don't need to. A lot of the bosses just repeat, and the levels are pretty much the same, just under a different name. You just follow the path for fighting the secret.
I'll probably watch like someone, or maybe if you're
that's what I did.
Or maybe if you're in the Discord, you can kind of give me some tips if I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's cool, man. It's like you don't have. There's optional bosses too, so you don't have to do the optional bosses. It is recommended because you want to level up your shit, and I think that's what, like we said earlier, it's kind of what happens when you go into an area and you're getting absolutely destroyed. You're like, okay, maybe I do need to go in these certain areas to fight the boss to get past this area.
Yeah. And hell, sometimes in those games, especially it happened to me in Bloodborne, the first time I was playing, I wasn't following a guide because I didn't know guides existed for Bloodborne, or at least good ones. And Old Yarnum, the optional area with old skin flaps, as I'll call him.
Vagina flaps.
Yeah. You know, I thought that was where I was supposed to be. I didn't know I could go anywhere else because I didn't know how to go anywhere else. So I thought that was the next main area. It, much to my chagrin at the time, and I finally killed that asshole, and it was like, no, this was optional.
Fuckers. But it was good that you did it. You got blood echoes for it.
I got the blood echoes, and I ended up going back to the area where I was getting shit on with all the giant things with axes, and was doing better. And then I found out, because I eventually was like, how do I proceed? And then someone was like, you get the 100 Chief Emblem, and I was like, oh.
Also, what's cool about Souls games in general? It's like you're teaching yourself to play the game, and you're teaching yourself the moves. Like, so if they're like, the guy goes left, and then he does like some weird shit to the side, and then he like slams to the ground or whatever. You get that move, and then later on, his moves are not the same throughout the whole fight. They change.
Yeah.
And I like that. There's different, and there's different stages of the fight. You can tell because he's like, oh, holy shit, this man's more aggressive. Fuck. Oh, he's doing a different move. You just have to learn it. Yeah. And it is frustrating, but I like that.
Yeah, it's another beautiful thing is that, you know, you should not go into a boss fight in those games if it's your first time playing.
And defeat it.
Yeah, you should not expect to just walk right in and defeat it. I mean, yeah, there are some bosses that are really easy, and you probably will. But a lot of the time, you're going to sit there, and you're going to die a couple times because you have to learn the moves.
It's the same thing with...
Eventually, you learn, and you're like, oh, okay, this is how I dodge this, and then eventually you'll kill him, and you'll have way better fights.
Well, it was the same thing for me for Dark Souls 3, because I would not have defeated the first boss if I didn't watch y'all be playing that shit on the daily, because I remember people were Andrew to have a couple of people try to play it and they could not get past the first boss, and then like watching him play and seeing how he did it, I was like, I literally remembered exactly how he did it, and you just like had to be aggressive and just go around it and like be on top of it.
Yep. And
yeah, and I beat him without dying, so I was like, this is dope. But it's more about it's a mental thing. You just have to remember shit, and for me, it's like dodging. It's like right when he swings or when he's going through, it's fucking barrel roll or some shit.
And you know the funny thing is, so Dark Souls 1, I did beat when I literally beat it the last week of my senior year. Like a couple days before graduation too. But Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 I ended up beating, but Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne I could never beat without help from Andrew, because those games were much more fluid, much more aggressive.
Very different.
And in fact, the only way I was able to beat Bloodborne by myself was literally using a glitch that was in version 1 of the game that would let you skip to the Forgotten Woods to pick up one of the Kin Cold Bloods.
Oh, right.
Yep. And there was a duplication glitch and I ended up getting myself to like level 170 and played through the game by doing that.
Wow, that made it easy.
Yeah. But Sekiro came out, and I realized, oh, there's no summons.
And it's very fast paced.
Yeah, and Sekiro, when I finally beat that after fucking like ripping my hair out on the final boss or the optional boss right before the final boss, I went back to Dark Souls and Bloodborne with the Sekiro taught me that I could do it by myself, and that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to keep dying over and over. It's okay to lose your souls, because ultimately you will succeed after enough tries, after you learn. And I was able to go back and legitimately beat Bloodborne, and was able to finally beat Dark Souls by myself, because there was no duplication glitch that I knew of in that game. And that's part of the reason why Sekiro, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 3 are my 3 favorites, because Sekiro taught me that I could beat those games by myself.
Well, it was like, and I think that's be a good idea for me to do. I mean, even playing Bloodborne, dude. Like after you helping me out, like I've been doing pretty well. Hell, even Demon Souls, I've been doing pretty well. I think.
Yeah, I'm probably not now, just since I need to finish Dark Souls 1 so that we can play and then do Dark Souls 2, but I'm probably going to go back and start a brand new character on Demon Souls and run through the game by myself now that I have the knowledge. And, I was able to beat that game without summoning anyone.
Are you gonna do New Game Plus or a whole different character?
Whole new character.
Oh, because then you can customize what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I lied. I did have I technically had a summon for one boss fight, and that was because I helped an NPC in level 1-3.
Was that our boy?
It was
The guy from the first area too, or the second area? I don't know what area it is.
that I after the podcast or maybe tomorrow, I'm gonna tell you a bit of lore I learned about that guy. Holy fuck, is it sad? But no, it's a guy you find. The guy is actually in 1-2, but you can't go there until you get a key that's in 1-3. And Demon Souls works different from Dark Souls, because you know how in the first DLC we kept summoning our boy Slave Knight Gale.
That's our boy.
Yeah, it's so you had to summon him. In Demon Souls, it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, he's also the only guy who can do this. If you help him, if you free him while you're going through 1-3, he will come to help you no matter what on the boss fight for 1-3. And so he helped me on the Penetrator boss fight. And also, that's a dope ass boss. That was fun. But other than that, I fought all those bosses by myself. And I didn't even watch the guides on how to do them, because it was like, no, I'm going to figure this out myself. One of them I already knew the gimmick, or two of them I already knew how to beat them. It was, obvious. But I'm going to go through that game and do like an actual build of my own, because now I feel as though I have the knowledge and can do it by myself. I know I can do it by myself. And that's something that the Souls that Sekiro taught me, and that I now realize all the Souls games can teach you if you just put your mind to it. Is you can just do it if you in any video game, honestly, if you put your mind to it, you can eventually overcome it.
You're talking to someone that, yeah, I mean, for someone that, for Call of Duty especially, I was shit. I was terrible at the game when I first played. And I don't know if I'm better than I was, at my prime in competitive Call of Duty, but man, I've gotten so much better compared to what I was. And, it's Call of Duty, so it's kind of stupid example, but yeah, it's the same idea. I mean, getting better, especially like I always, like I was like, I remember talking to people like, oh, I want to get in a competitive Call of Duty, like I'm not good at the game, which they weren't. But I was like, dude, it's all about just playing the game. Get your ass beat. Let your ass get beat.
Yep.
But you learn.
Your ass beat by the good ass fucking like wannabe Optic Gaming dude.
And
because you can learn from getting your ass kicked, and you can, hell, even just watching the kill cam, sometimes you can go like, oh, I didn't know that was a nade spot. Oh, I didn't realize that was a head glitch.
Yep. So that's what's beautiful about the Souls games. It's a challenge, and sometimes you gotta take a break. I notice every time I get frustrated in those games, I start getting aggressive, and I start to
make more mistakes.
Yeah. It's one of those games you just gotta fucking walk away.
Yep. I was doing that earlier on Dark Souls 1. I didn't have my build completed, and it was having me go towards one of the one of the final bosses, one that I was originally going to leave towards the end, and I was getting really mad and making dumb mistakes. So instead, I just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to walk away," and I went and finished upgrading my sword and running through an area I hate, but needed to run through, and came back later. I ended up beating the boss first try.
It's about going through those obstacles, man.
Yeah,
I
and
still don't think I'm that good at Souls games, but I'm getting better. I think I am improving.
And a message to anyone listening, watching, whatever. If you're wanting to play a Souls game and you're stuck or you just need help.
Guides.
One, there are people, the purists on like Reddit and fucking Twitter, who sit there and say, no, if you had to use a guide even once, you're a fucking pussy. Don't listen to them. Fuck them. If you need a guide and you're stuck and it's impeding on your progress and your enjoyment, just watch a guide. I literally, Bailey knows, I played through all of Demon Souls Remake just this week using a guide for the whole game other than boss fights.
You almost need a guide for Souls games because it's like, dude.
Yeah, so like in Dark Souls 3, there's an area, Farron Keep. How the fuck are you supposed to know you need to extinguish fires in a chimney to open the gate?
Or, playing the DLC, me and you just running through on the bridge, getting fucked by a million dudes.
Yep.
And not knowing that we got to kill this one dude on the top to stop all this shit.
Yeah, I mean, you would have been screaming if you didn't know that, and you were lucky to have.
Or you didn't know that. I didn't
know how to do that the first time I did it, and it pissed me off.
You're probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So if you ever need a guide and you're afraid because some purist is going to say, "Oh, don't use a guide," no, ignore them, because I know that in the past they had to do the same thing at some point or another. Even if it's just to get the true ending, they had to do it. And second, if you're stuck on a boss and you have no one to help you and you don't have any other options, you have no optional bosses to kill, go on Reddit r/summon sign. I used it when me and Bailey were trying to kill the optional boss in the second DLC of Dark Souls 3. We couldn't beat the fucking Dark Eater Midir Dragon. I was like, alright, let's see if we can summon someone. And we waited and we waited. Eventually I went on r/summon sign.
Pretty instantly.
Yeah, within 2 minutes I had some guy who responded and was like, tell me your password and where to set my summon sign, I got you.
God.
The first attempt, Bailey got himself killed. He was being too aggressive. Second attempt, we go in. I died on some bullshit, but Bailey and the other guy persevered and beat him.
And this man fucking wrecked. I mean, this man probably only healed a couple times.
Yeah, like he probably only healed twice.
And this boss this boss is like, you gotta heal a lot. This ain't
He has some of the hardest hitboxes he hits.
By the way, this is a dragon.
Yeah, and he has the largest health pool in the game. Even more than the boss that you're not even supposed to fight with a normal sword. He has more health than him. And so, if you want to play a Souls game and it's your first one, don't be afraid to watch guides. Don't be afraid to ask for help on Twitter or on Reddit. There are people who are not the annoying purists who will be more than happy to help you.
Well, even if you don't want to say you think using guides, it's a pleb move, for trying to get to know where you're going. Bloodborne, for the most part, I think you can find your own way and just explore. At least from my opinion, but they're really good for just tips. That's why I really like the guides, because they can give you some really good tips. You're like, oh shit, that would save my ass in the future.
Yeah, And I don't think anyone should
Especially
do what I
Demon
did.
Souls.
Yeah, I don't. I generally would not tell people to do what I did on Demon Souls, but this is a years long hate boner I've had for this game, and I just wanted to be able to get it done.
To be fair, there's so many fucking annoying things in that game. It's almost mandatory to have a fucking guide.
Yeah, I mostly wanted a guide for like builds.
If you told me nothing and like didn't say anything about getting a guide on that game, I wouldn't even get that far.
Yeah, and but my thing on guides, I think maybe not for Demon Souls, but for or no, Elden Ring. If you use a guide, I don't care I needed it.
If you don't use a guide, you're a fucking Giga Chad.
Yeah, but for Dark Souls 1 through 3 and Bloodborne and Sekiro, I think you should legitimately try running through the area, figure it out. If you just can't and you're getting angry and you just don't know what to do, use a guide. I had to do that a couple times playing Sekiro when it came out. Because I was like, where the fuck do I go? How do I find this? And I don't know what to do.
Dude,
I looked and I was like, oh, okay.
Even guides are good for bosses because you can kind of see it what they do. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I should try this instead. They're dashing this way instead.
Yeah.
So, that's what I look at too. Is like, oh, okay, that person's dashing to the left more in than going to the right because the swing's coming from the other end. So,
that's also a funny thing about the Souls games is, dodge into the attack. It sounds stupid, but
it's true.
Yeah.
Because if you go the other way, somehow the swing comes all the way around and hits it in the fucking back.
Well, no. So the thing that happens is generally you have what's called invincibility frames, or what they refer to as iframes, and when you dodge into it, your iframes will meet at the point that the attack would hit you, but because you're invincible, it doesn't hit you. So you're away from the attack when your iframes come on. Whereas if you dodge with the attack, when your iframes are unactivated and you're able to be hit again, you're still under the attack. And so it sounds really stupid, but that's how the games work, and it's kind of genius. Kind of throws you through a loop and kind of has to teach you this isn't a normal game.
No, it ain't. But yeah, dude, overall, Souls games they're not your cup of tea. I get it, but if you like a challenge, you want something fun to play, try those games out, and there's plenty of them. And again, this is one of the few companies when they announce they're gonna make a new game, you get really fucking excited. You get really excited. Most developers now, you're like, whatever. It's probably gonna be shit.
Yep. And maybe it is just because we're getting older, but
I think it's more to that.
I think it's like because I'm not super critical, and I me, I play so many different kinds of games. Like, I'm probably one of the least critical people, but at the same time, I kind of am, because they've kind of just ruined a lot of new games with all this stupid bullshit that they're trying to do. It gets in the way of making a good game.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think it's really because of our age. I think it's more that we know our surroundings of what we're playing. We're not just diving into a game. Like, oh, wow, there's shooting going on. Cool. This is an awesome game. There's explosions.
Yeah, I think a little bit of it is age, in the way of we've seen it before, and so
we've seen greatness.
Yeah, we've seen greatness, but we also just, I think with our age comes some wisdom, is more like, and I know that sounds so stupid.
Sounds like an old man saying.
Yeah, but like, to an extent, it's kind of true. Like, we've seen so many of these, like, Michael Bay film kind of games, and so it's like, okay, yes, your graphics are good. What else do you have to give me? because I can get the same thing from something else.
And have all right graphics, but have a great story, have an amazing game.
Yeah. Or, you know, the graphics aren't super good, but, you know, this gameplay is fire. The Dark Souls games, they don't have like super great fucking graphics, but
Dude, look at New Vegas, dude. Fuck the graphics.
Yeah, the graphics are pretty bad, but you know what? That game is one of my favorite games I've ever played.
Yeah, I've never played a game where it's like, holy shit, playing side missions is so much fun because there's so much story happening. You know, me and Eugene are the same type of person. We like to play, we're those motherfuckers that we can't just play the main story. We got to play everything.
Yeah,
so,
I want to experience the full fucking game. If I'm gonna buy it, I want to get the full experience.
Agreed, and you get more out of the story too. So
yeah,
it's kind of a waste to just play the story. Yeah, exactly. So we got to play all that shit.
Yep.
Man, I think there'll be a change. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a real big while, but it's actually weird. I think the major changes, it's gonna be a while, but I've noticed like small things that are annoying as fuck have changed because of people bitching. But if more and more people bitch in the gaming industry, there will be change, and I mean a huge amount of people bitching.
Yeah.
Like,
and, I mean, we're starting to see it more, but not enough.
Well, and I'm glad people are waking up to all the terrible things that developers deal with, and how they're treated in the industry. And I love that people are coming out with this because it's gonna be like, hey, don't fucking rush your designers. Don't do this shit. Let them fucking do their thing. It's gonna be a punch to the face to these people in suits that are leading this shit.
Yeah, I don't have a huge issue with crunch time, but it depends on what you're doing with crunch time. Because like crunch time is inevitable.
Yeah.
But like you hear like what the Rockstar crunch time is like. These people are working like 100 hours a week. They're like basically living at the fucking like studio and everything, and it's like that's not cool. Like the crunch time is like what crunch time is supposed to be is like, okay, we just gotta like real quick. We don't have much time. Let's make sure the game is functioning. There's no bugs. That's what crunch time was supposed to be. Is just the last minute rush to make sure no bugs.
And now it's like the complete fucking game.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we've got like 2 weeks and we've still got to design this entire level and this boss fight. We got to write all this dialogue, and it's like that's not what crunch time was supposed to be. If that's what you're running into, you need to delay the game another like 2 months.
Oh, and by the way, we're releasing another game in next year, so we got to make sure we start that one, next month.
Yep. Like, no, these people still have lives, and
they're humans.
I'm hoping, yeah, they're humans. They have people they have places to be and bitches to see.
Exactly. Well, again, I think it's there's gonna be a change of some sort. When will it happen? I don't know. But people have been speaking about this more and more because people are fucking fed up. I watch Angry Joe's videos and he's fed up with this shit. It's just
fed up for years.
Time and time again, dude. And it's the same thing with movies. Movies and shows piss me off a lot too.
Yeah.
Especially when you introduce something like Resident Evil and then fuck it up and then like, hey guys, let's make a show out of it too. So
I might have to just sit down and watch it.
Dude,
that way I can give a review.
Earlier I was like, dude, we should totally just have a review of the show and just absolutely rip on this.
Maybe I might do it.
Because it came out in June or something?
June or July, yeah. Maybe May.
Ugh. We'll have to watch it. But guys, I hope you guys have a fantastic day or night. And this was the second podcast with Eugene. Joe left a little early. He went to bed. I believe he works in the morning. But yeah, I will see you guys sometime next week and have a good day.